Hey everyone, welcome to episode 63 of the Bonehead Podcast, where we talk all things Blood Bowl. Welcome back, I'm Ben, and once again I'm joined by Blood Type Ben.
Hello, hello.
How you doing, BT?
Doing very well. Can't believe it's a new podcast already. It feels generally like about a week ago since Battle Dash.
I know, that was so good. That was so good. We've actually had loads of great feedback about that. One comment saying, I'm very confused by what this YouTube channel is, which was... I was like, I don't know any. I think anyone knows what this YouTube channel is. It's just stuff tangentially related to Blood Bowl. But yeah, no, Bash and Dash was good fun. I think we're gonna have to run it out again at some point.
Yeah.
Or I know you had some ideas for some alternate ones. What was?
Yeah, maybe.
What was the one that was like real team or fake team? I can't remember. It was good.
Yeah.
It was good.
We'll come up with them. We'll do them.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's still hundreds of Bash or Dash combinations. So yeah, listeners, if you want to hear more Bash or Dash, then please let us know, because it could be quite entertaining, and we could get people on to be contestants. That could be
that would be so good. Yeah,
that would be I feel like that would trigger some people, which I think is quite entertaining. Anyway, yeah, Ben, we're back, episode 63. The road goes ever on and on. It's now March, which means we've been indoors for a year now. Is that about right?
Yeah, coming up to that. Yeah.
I know that Tiff and I sort of sacked off going outside in February, but that's mostly because I think my mum's birthday was the end of February, and we were like, well, look, we're going to stay inside because we, for safety, and that way, have a good birthday, see you next year. And now it's like, oh, it's a year, but
yeah, I know.
But there's an end in sight potentially. Asterisk. There
is. Finally, start using all these like models I've been painting up because it's goodness knows. At least the one good thing that's come out of it is the fact that hobby time galore.
Dude, the people's painting has just absolutely leveled up. Everybody in our group
really has.
Everybody online,
yeah, and elsewhere. You see it online. Like people are doing so much.
Every time I do Whip Wednesday, I'm like, honest. Everyone's on like a checkers rampage at the moment as well. By the way, I know that Sam Frenzy Garner on our group has been doing some checkers, and then this week I recorded it, and there's an orc team, there's a black orc team, there's an undead team. Like everyone's going mad for checkers. I don't know. Has Duncan done a video about checkers or something?
That's good, but I don't think so. But I would be surprised. Maybe there's one coming soon.
I don't know whether people are just like, I want a new challenge now. I
think generally that does come up though. Definitely. I mean, I know when I see stuff, I get really inspired to do it. It's maybe like sort of exponential. Someone does it and sees someone else do it. And I want to give that a go, and then it just spreads. Maybe we're into the checker play can spread.
Yeah, but when you see someone do something, you end up doing a 24-hour stream.
That is true. Yeah, and I never do it again.
Yeah,
not
Ben's like,
stream. I just
hold my airbrush. Yeah, which one was that? That was you did the nobility one, and then you did the ogre one as well, or did you stream the ogres?
I didn't stream ogres. No. I've done two 24 hours. One I didn't stream. That was my dwarves.
The
dwarf
fire
guys.
dwarf, chaos dwarf guys.
Yeah,
they were awesome. Absolutely awesome.
Yeah, I'm stripping them though. I don't like them anymore. I like some of them. A lot of them. I'm just
they're
like,
3D printed. They're 3D printed, right?
Yeah.
It's not just easy just to print more.
That is true. I will be doing some of that. Yeah, but I'll strip.
No, but it's quite cool. So there is a potential road now to outside. We've got about 3 months, haven't we? If you think about things, which is good because I'm getting married in 2.5 months. Like it's right on the edge. Like the world reopens on the 17th for phase 3 or whatever it is, and we're getting married on Saturday the 22nd. But we're just going to do the married thing with our close family, and then because we pushed the venue back a year, we're going to have a big party next year, with less wedding tax because it's not actually going to be a wedding. So we don't
I
have
mean,
to
you've got to sneak it in while you can, and while you've got an excuse to...
That's awesome. So we just get to do the marriage thing. We've got 2 weeks where I don't think we're going to be able to go anywhere, and that's fine because Tiff has also started a YouTube channel now, which is pretty sweet.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, so she did her first island tour for Animal Crossing.
Oh,
and
so awesome.
I edited it. It's really good. It's
good.
really good. I think she's done well. Yeah, but I did lose the studio this Monday for that very reason. So I was like, cool. I got Monday. I can do a bunch of videos. I can get caught up because the last 2 weeks have been hell. And then got the capture card arrived. The new Switch arrived, and my studio went goodbye. It is tidy now, though. Like, the impact of having Tiff in the studio, it means that there is a lot. It's a lot tidier. I have no idea where it's all gone, and there's like 7 Blood Bowl teams that were just on my desk, and they're now not here. So that's good. including like the sneaky preview ones, which is interesting. Oh no, I can see one. All right, that's good. Anyway, yeah. So we do have a potential road out, and I think now's a great time, just at the beginning of the episode, to drop that we have a tournament coming up. We don't have a name for it yet. This news is so new. I agreed it with Pete today. And in fact, it's exactly 4 months. It'll be on the 3rd of July, Saturday the 3rd of July. It is going to be a 3-round standard Blood Bowl tournament. We'll have at least one tiny special rule, because every tournament's got to have a tiny special rule. Yeah. But I think it's going to be really, really small, Ben. I know that you, me, and Ian were talking about it. It won't be a wizard. Honestly, man, I'm thinking that we make some custom tokens. We give a token to everybody when they turn up, and every game they can use that token once per game for an extra reroll. That's simple. Everyone gets a token to say they've come, and there's a little extra benefit, but it doesn't mess with the team builds. And that's, I think it's so important now that we're going into the new format. We've seen a few tournaments, literally maybe 9 to 12 around the world for Blood Bowl 2020. Most of them have somehow been won by Khemri, and that's not fair. But 2 were 2 Khemri, 1 Amazon, a Necro team, and I can't remember who won the other one that I've had a look at. But yeah,
I can't remember that.
But no, it's going to be what I called normal rules, which Al Lunch Muddy, when I explained for me, because I was driving home, he was like, no, Ben means normal, as in no bonehead, ridiculous, silly stuff. I was like, you mean fun, Al? You mean fun? But yes, yeah, we're going to be doing that, and basically that's just like that's like the earliest date that we feel is going to be safe, I guess. Yeah,
I think at least comfortable. Do you know what I mean? Like, if it could be like classed as safe, we don't want to just rush people out the door. You know, give it a little bit of time. See how things go. Gives you a bit of like time to realize, like, is this correct? You know?
Yeah, get used to kind of how the world is.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I think Rule of 6 indoors goes live from the 17th of May, which is why I'm able to get married. Actually, that's not fair. If it's 15 people at a wedding before the 17th of May, it's 30 afterwards. So basically, if it gets pushed back a couple of weeks, we go down to 15. So we're just going to have 15 people and save all the problems. So, you know, like we're covered. So yeah, so it's Rule of 6 from the 17, which means we could run a tournament like we did with Tombstone in groups of 6. But we're waiting. Yeah, and it was great fun. But we're waiting for Phase 5, beginning of July, a couple of weeks after Phase 5 drops, which means that the Rule of 6 shouldn't be in place. But if it is, that's kind of like the backup plan. Like, Plan A is a free-for-all Swiss tournament. Realistically, I think stuff's going to get shunted back, and we're going to be playing in pods again of 4 or 6. And you know what? On a 3-round tournament, you're still playing a different coach each time, and it's going to be fine. So I'm pumped, man. The only thing I'm sad about.
Yeah, me too. I'm really keen to see this sort of new edition kind of like really take stride and kind of like see it in person, because it's at the moment we're doing a lot of like theory crafting. It'll be really awesome to sort of see it in action and learn from it. You know, increase the sample size of the data. It might not just be like Khemri wins every time. Could be different. Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see if Khemri. I have a theory about that as well. But the only downside of the tournament is because of social distancing, which is totally the right thing to do. We're limited to 24 coaches, basically. Which I think, yeah, I know. I'd love. But can you? I find that such a strange concept again, to run a tournament with that many people.
Yeah, and cram 3,000 people in a room.
Oh man! But you said before the show, you were like Thud Bowl or Thrud Bowl. I think they've sold out, and they're 50 people over a 2-day tournament in August. And I'm just like, that is a whole bunch of social distancing. Like, yeah, interesting. But that's the thing, is we don't know what the rules are going to be like. So we're planning on, we've got the erring on the side of caution there. We're taking the leader reroll and the spare apothecary, so that hopefully we can swing that out, and it'll be pretty sweet. And we're going to try and stream it. Don't know how that's going to work yet. I did get a new camera arrive just before we started recording, so we can start playing with our multicam setup, so we can stream a feature match, which could be awesome. I'm just so excited about this.
Got some fun ideas.
It's all Ben's girlfriend's idea, really, and I'm
actually kind of yeah.
Oh, I love that. That's cool. Anyway, we've rambled already. Ben, episode 63. What are we chatting about today?
We're going to be talking about some suboptimal throwers, some passing modifiers, and the usual games hobby and stuff.
Absolutely. So suboptimal throwers. This is or optimistic throwers is another way of thinking about it.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of teams out there, and it's funny. We're going to look at a Games Workshop article in a minute that Ben flagged up to me, and there's a sentence in there which, quite frankly, is a lie, and it ties in nicely to what we're looking at today. And what we're looking at today really is passing is fun. It is technically suboptimal, and you will lose more games. I don't think you'll lose more games than you win, but you will lose games for trying to pass. But there are just some players that you just want to make great throwers, and you just want to have a great time with. And we're going to have a look at some of those today. And we're also, this is something that Ben wanted to chat about, talk about some kind of passing meta adjustments to what we could do, what you can do, how we can change it up a bit. And that should be good to chat through as well. So,
yeah, definitely.
Before that, though, let's have a quick look at Blood Bowl news. Okay, first things first, we've got some Blood Bowl news this week, which is cool. There is a couple of Kickstarters. The first one is from, was it Cross Lances?
Yeah.
Cross Lances. Now, Cross Lances is the team person who did the cool Halfling Leprechaun team, which, very stylized, proper chibi looking, but, just really fun. And to be fair, brilliantly executed. Like, whether you like the style or not, that's down to you, but actually, he nailed it. And then did those fun Christmas ornaments that I printed out for my management team, which was quite
cool. I remember that.
Yeah, that was good. Oh, Christmas. Feels like forever ago. Anyway, so he's now dropped another one called Princesses Got Angry. So this is not necessarily a Blood Bowl team. It's some terrifying, murdery, absolutely 100% not Disney princesses with chainsaws. There's Alice from Alice in Wonderland. There's the Alice in Wonderland team. There's Beauty and the Beast. You've got Belle with the claws. You've got the actual Beast. You've got Sleeping Beauty with a chainsaw. The witches. Like, it's cool to look at, but there is a Blood Bowl team at the very, very bottom, which are some very weird looking dwarves. Ben.
Yeah.
What do you...
I think, to be fair, okay, so I'll say, yeah, like I say, as a Blood Bowl team, like, if you were to say, yeah, I'm going to get this as a Blood Bowl team, it's not really for me, in my opinion. It might be for someone, but it's not for me. The sculpting, like you say, is fantastic. But these dwarves, I actually think are great for the secret gnome team.
Oh, wow. Right, so they're basic. So the best way to describe them is gnomes that essentially without legs, just feet, and 100% no necks. Like, they just look squished down. They are the most triangular thing. Giant noses. Like, the sculpting is brilliant, and like I said, the execution's bang on, and that mine cart is just so good.
It's like warped. It's got like Disney like cartoon character. I actually think it's fantastic how they've captured like just sort of the style, how they've really just gone really hard on that. It's really good.
Here we go. So
that's what you're after. This is genuinely great.
Oh yeah, This would be actually quite good if you've got kids, and it will also be pretty good to play against the Leprechaun team. So we said we would make a small dedication to our fantasy football supporters as well, and here it is. Sculpting the 7 dwarves from Snow White, we realised that a team of dwarves with this design would be beautiful. So they have just populated an entire team. And there's enough there for you to be able to run the positionals. There's 2 with mine hats, basically. 2 with spiky mine hats. I can't see the Slayers. Can't see who's supposed to be the Slayers, but that's fine.
Maybe the ones with the big X. Oh no.
Yeah,
they all have kind of beards. Yeah,
they're all just absolute tank. But the mine cart is pretty awesome as well. And it's cool. It is stylized. It is really interesting. But they've executed superbly. Now this is going live now. It's called Princesses Got Angry, and it's already smacked the £86 goal. What an absolute lad. That's
wow.
What a way to make sure you're getting funded. That is amazing. But I mean, 131 backers straight off the bat. Is that nearly £4,000 of that £86 target? I think this guy knows how to do a Kickstarter now. And if you want a team of dwarves, and this is just STLs as well, so you need to have a friend with their 3D printer. Dwarfs Fantasy, £11. That's pretty great.
That's really good. Yeah, these are really good priced, really well priced.
I mean, to be fair, the princesses themselves are brilliant.
They are, yeah, 100%. It's really just, it reminds me a lot of, like, I think it's because there's like an Alice in there. If you know, like American McGee's Alice, where everything's kind of like all messed up, and like violent. It's kind of, it really reminds me of that, and I think that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's very fair, and the Alice one is cool. I mean, they're great fun to paint. It's a cool project. This guy always does great projects. But yes, there is a dwarf team as well. Apparently, it's Dwarf Team Month, and we'll come to that in a second. So that is Princesses Got Angry from Cross Lances. Next one is a teeny tiny preview that has got no information yet. They showed a little preview on Facebook. So this one is an upcoming project. It's Fantasy Football Team Lizards of the Bronx by Witcher Miniatures. So this is a Lizardman team. So on the Blood Bowl group, there's a couple of pictures of the team, and they look pretty good. The difficult thing, Ben, is that the Lizardman team from Games Workshop is actually pretty awesome. And I don't know if I've seen a Lizardman team that I prefer to the Games Workshop one.
Yeah, I think Grebo have one that's really, really quite good. Their newer Lizardman team. That's, to me, also been the contender, but you're so right. That's kind of the trouble with the newer GW teams that fulfill all the positional roles. It's pretty hard to beat in a lot of cases.
Yeah, they do set a bar really, 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 really high. I mean, we were so excited about the Norba Bretonian team and the human team, and I still am because I've seen them, and I cannot wait for the Knights to land. That should be soon as well. But the Nobility team is just fantastic. And it's like the good thing about the Norba stuff is the price point gives you just an alternative for the same price, or a little bit cheaper, which is awesome. And
and you get the full 16 as well. So like the issue with the GW team is you really don't get that many journeymen or the linemen. I mean, there's great angles, and people will definitely prefer that to the Games Workshop several times out of 10. But every one of the Games Workshop teams is awesome. And look at the Blackhawks. In fact, let's take Blackhawks. The Games Workshop Blackhawks team versus the Grebo Blackhawks team. I don't know if I could choose. Yeah, that is really hard. I love that team. Wish I backed it.
I will be picking it up at some point, which is ridiculous because I already have a Blackhawks team, and at some point I'm going to have built another team that uses the rules of Blackhawks, just because it's such a good, like the build of that is so good. You need one big guy, 6 strength 4 looking guys, and a bunch of strength 2 looking guys. I think we chatted about it as well. Did we say? We said that actually a Tzeentch team would work well with that. 6 warriors. A chaos big guy, a spawn or something, and then a bunch of horrors as your strength 2 stunty piece. Like boom, it's a really good team template, I think, and definitely one to watch because I think it's very flexible. Anyway, we've got a Lizardman team incoming, and Punga, I thought we just got to give this a shout out. Can we see it? Can we see it? Yes, we can. The Punga Miniatures Patreon have released their first half of their Naval Dwarf team.
I love it.
Underwater
I really
Dwarf
do
team.
love this team.
So what we got so far is their Death Roller, and their Death Roller is, like one of those one-man underwater subs. This is that with some chunky arms and a crazed dwarven pilot in the middle of it. Like, how this is going to fit on a pitch, I do not know, but that is just how Death Rollers roll. And then they've got a smattering of players for the dwarves, and each of them are individually brilliant. There's a pirate dwarf with beer and a chest. There's another pirate dwarf with a parrot and a pipe. We've got a pirate runner. We've got the Blitzer is absolutely gorgeous. It's kind of just classic dwarf, but there's a little bit of naval theme, but not too much.
Yeah, and I think this is what I really like with Punga, is all of the stuff they make for Blood Bowl especially fits with the sort of Blood Bowl style, yet still looking extremely distinctive. So it's not like they're just copying models that exist already. All the models they make are incredibly unique, but I don't know if it's the proportions, the expressions, the poses, whatever it is, like they all fit as if they could be actual Blood Bowl models.
Oh yeah, you're exactly right. I think maybe it's the proportions. Yeah. I don't know. My only issue with the Punga team now, I love every single thing Punga's ever done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that as a cohesive style? I think the team has got a little bit too much going on. Like the pirate guys don't necessarily fit with the sea dwarfs, who have just got like the classic plate mail, and chain mail and stuff like that. That's my only point. And then there's a one random Triton / Jason Momoa as Seaman, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
It just looks like oh come on, what is everybody's least favorite DC hero?
Well, Aquaman.
There you go.
Okay. Sorry, I thought you were there with Jason Momoa.
Well, yeah, I just couldn't remember what Aquaman's actual name was. But yeah, it looks like Aquaman as a dwarf player, which is awesome. And then there's a boat, and the boat is sweet, but I don't know how big the boat is. I don't understand why there is.
Want it to be printable.
Well, yeah, I don't know why I'm not printing this right now. Oh, I do, because because printers, which I think you and I will probably come to in hobby. But yeah, so they're doing this weird thing where they're releasing half the team now and half the team next month, and you know what? That means it's going to be about £14 for a unique STL sculpt team that you cannot get anywhere else.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, man, I've paid way more for STLs that are way worse than this. And these guys are pre-supporting the heck out of this stuff. Their pre-supports have been amazing. Which just leads to me printing unnecessary amounts of things.
Done a couple of hack films at least, haven't you?
yeah. I've got one for Milton as well. But no, really cool to see. Really cool. Looking forward to seeing basically the next wave of these guys. But the cool thing, Ben, and you taught me a wonderful trick with 3D printing, is if you want two of a dude and you don't want those two dudes to look exactly the same, just mirror them. So while they've said you do not have a full team here, you really do if you just mirror the prints, which, you know what, is already better than the Games Workshop stuff. 4 Blitzers, all looking exactly the same. You know what, at least these will be opposites.
Yeah, and that does make them surprisingly distinctive, I think.
Yeah,
sure.
Dwarves works well for dwarves because you've got 2 of each positional basically, so there's enough for you to do. And I think there's 2 runners there. It looks like there's 2 slayers. And there's 1 blitzer, and I think those other guys are linemen. So I think you're missing linemen in this lineup here, but that's okay. Now, while we're on dwarves, I just want to say that the Grebo, we talked about it last week, and at some point they will give me the green light to release the review video. They sent us a team, one of their new dwarf team, not with the special add-ons, just the core 17 miniatures. And boy howdy, here they are. Fantastic. This is like, there's something going on, man. There's dwarves everywhere at the moment, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
There's
it's like I wish the team was really good.
Hey, dwarves are good. They're just not the most exciting.
Fun.
Yeah, but this is it, man. This comes back to our alternate builds that we always talk about. That actually chuck in a few different builds: 4 slayers, no blitzers, just something, or 6 slayers, no blitzers, no runners, and just GLHF. There's a lot you can flex with these teams that would actually add up a bit of variability, and I think house rolling the heck out of that will take no time at all. Do a World's Edge League and just come up with 4 different dwarf teams and just go have a great time, because there's the Punga one, which is 100% great, the Grebo one, which is unnecessarily great, and the Fanath one, which is just beautifully casual, just beautifully classic. And there's also the Games Workshop one. So that's 4 brilliant dwarf teams. There's not a bad choice.
No, not at all. Yeah, I like. Yeah, and also, I want to be playing all these dwarves, and that's why I like this idea, because it's nice. It's difficult to motivate yourself to hobby. Well, at least I find it's difficult to motivate yourself to paint something if you don't ever want to use it. So yeah, I'm fully on board with that idea. House rolling a team.
That's the great thing about sevens. That's the great thing about sevens is, you can paint up a sevens team, and you can run 3 games in one evening. And you know what? I ran them. I had a great time. If I don't want to play with them again, I don't have to play with them again. But yeah. That's what I love about sevens. So yes, that is it for Blood Bowl news when it comes to miniatures. So dwarves everywhere, lizardmen upcoming, and murdery princesses. But there is a Blood Bowl article that Ben spotted on the 3rd of March, which is actually today, so huzzah. Ben, what's the article about?
So it's just an interview with one of the designers, a member of the design team, Jonathan
JTY.
Taylor York. Yep. And it was basically just a quick interview about, what made you do this. It's kind of like they maybe meant to have released this the upcoming second season. It's kind of a bit of a random drop.
Do you remember when everything was leaks? Do you remember that time?
I do. It was an exciting time.
It was only about 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good old days.
Wow. Sorry, carry on.
Lockdown was still a novelty.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting read, though. So I think it's always really interesting to sort of get behind or get into the minds of the design team, why they made the decisions. They had a couple of really sort of notes which made us. It's sort of coincidental, especially on the passing thing. Do you want to mention that?
Yeah, so the passing thing here is, elsewhere, the changes to the passing game ensure the ball travels more often rather than simply being dropped when things go wrong. This adds more jeopardy and excitement without favouring passing teams unfairly. Ben, true or false?
I don't want to say it's straight up false, because I've not played much 2020. I don't really know.
The numbers do not lie, my friend.
They don't. Yeah, on paper it looks like it's been made harder. I don't see where they've sort of got this statement from.
Better than paper. On spreadsheets, the numbers are, and on our Theory Thursday show as well, where we run the numbers for passing. I have a theory about this, Ben. This is my theory. I want you to tell me whether I'm being tinfoil hat or not, whether this is down to lizard people. JTY could be a lizard person. Let's ask David Icke. So I wonder if the changes to the throwing template 0, -1, -2, -3 and the passing changes, I wonder if they were only meant to do one. I wonder if
they accidentally put both in the book.
I wonder if I just doubled down unnecessarily. If they'd done one or the other, things would have been fine, I think. I think the passing stat, great idea. Also, nerfing passing killed it. Because you used to be able, like nowadays, there are people with a passing of 4+. And that's as good as it gets. So that's like, it's just, it's interesting. It's interesting. I don't think I like the plan of making throwers throw. I think that's great. Except for where they haven't, which is why we're doing this segment number 2, the next segment in the show after hobby, about making some of the passes that you'd really want to be fun at passing more fun at passing. I don't know, what do you think, Ben?
I think it's a bit of a shame. I really do. I think it's like something I remember when I started Blood Bowl, and I was just like, oh, it's going to be awesome. You can like, I think I picked up the high elves, and I really did go hard on the passing. Kind of because everyone said don't do it. It kind of made me want to, because that's something I heard a lot, was just like, if you're passing, you're just kind of throwing the game a lot of the time. Sometimes it's like the only option, and that's kind of the only time you want to pass when you have no other choice.
And that's really exciting.
See, I disagree. I think it's a real shame.
When it's the only chance, like that's really exciting. When it's like,
okay, it is. Yeah,
I lost in the finals to Simon in like season 3 of Wobble because he took a cheeky 6+6+ pass, a long bomb from an Orc blitzer into the end zone to an Orc lineman who was tagged in 2 tackle zones or something absurd, and did it. Like that is epic. But yeah, it would be yeah. Everything else you're saying, like, I agree with.
It's like here you have 4 pages in the rule book about passing the ball, and it's just kind of like seems to be 4 pages on something that's really only a desperation play. Seems like kind of a missed opportunity when you can have this mechanic, which is really integral to football. Like throw it and pass. Like how many games? I mean, you know American football more than I do. How many games do they just like give the player to one guy and he never ever gives it up?
The Browns and the Titans did a pretty good job of it, but even then, they had some pretty decent throw game as well. And that's the thing. Yeah, NFL, you can't throw if you can't run. If everyone knows you're going to throw the ball, they can position to stop it. And in Blood Bowl, you can kind of do that anyway, unless you're playing against Pro Elves. Nerves of Steel, totally OP. I love it. It's great fun.
That's another thing. Nerves of Steel, and you there's that skill and an entire tree of skills for passing, and it's something that they've kind of designed to be a real one-off desperation play. I feel like it could be. I think like what they had with deflection is really awesome, because that's like a kind of a counter to the passing. I think encouraging more things like that, where you can counter a play that's quite common, just adds another layer of depth rather than making the actual play itself just a real one-off thing. Sometimes it might happen, you might win, sometimes you just throw the game.
And pass block being lumped in now as well is also pretty cool. I like that, to make that more. I think that is going to come up. But yeah, I mean, massively, I agree with you. And we're even going to talk about that. So topic 1, we're going to be talking about optimistic throwers. And topic 2, we're going to be talking about actually what are some stuff you can do to source up the passing game? What are some sort of meta changes? What are some special rules, some house rules if you want to change it up? Because actually passing is a great fun element of the game. And the downside of successful passing is more touchdowns. And that's not something that I'm opposed to. And I think that's probably because of the teams I play. But I don't know, like being able to spread it out and go for the pass would be pretty sweet. But then again, you can just run Pro Elves for that. But, you know, I don't want to run Pro Elves. I want a Goblin. I want a Hefty. I want these guys that are sitting at passing 3+. I want them to be my quarterback. Because who does not love the idea of a halfling Hefty quarterback hooning the ball down and scoring those TDs? I just think it's just awesome. Like, I just there's nothing in the world I want more than stunty quarterbacks, I think. In fact, that's another topic. One league, the stunty quarterback league.
You can give them like Popeye style, like spinach, where they just gobble something down and get some strength to absolutely lob it.
Just like a can of Scroll ale. Boom, add your strength. I mean, their strength's only 2, so it's still not great. No, it's cool. It's a cool article. It's always nice to read about Blood Bowl. They have definitely run out of source. They've definitely run out of stuff to do right now, though, haven't they?
Yeah, this article did kind of feel like filler. Is that mean to say?
And I think Spike 12, which will be landing, full stop, it will be landing. We don't know when. We have no idea. Again, also a little bit filler. I think they are probably just lagging behind, but we did have a great end of last year. Like Snotlings into Necro, into the box set. We got like 4 awesome teams and OWA last year. It's pretty sweet. Like, however, it's been 6 months, Games Workshop. We need to know the next team. We need to know the next team. We need to see the Squig team coming.
Bonehead team.
Oh, I don't know. That would be pretty cool. Right, I think that wraps it up for news. Ben, let's have a quick chat about hobby before we talk about optimistic passers. And we're back, and it is hobby time. So we can't go outside very often, so hobby is kind of key to what we're doing at the moment. So we'll talk about some hobby, talk about some games. Over to you, BT. Hobby, what's the top of your list this week?
I feel like I've done a lot of painting, but I haven't really. I talk about the Ogre Army quite a lot. I'm working on Age of Sigmar Ogre Army. I have one model left to do, which is the Iron Blaster, and then it's kind of just to finish up the basing on a lot of them.
Hang on. What's the Iron Blaster?
That's the big ogre with a cannon being carried by a Rhinox.
You've done the scrap launcher, which was insane.
Yes.
Is that similar model kit? I don't know if I've seen the big cannon.
Yes, it's like the same chassis. It's just instead of catapult, it's a big cannon and an ogre on it.
No, that's awesome. And then what? What
cool
were the
model.
army
It's
then?
just going to take a long time.
What are you going to do then?
Sorry?
What are you going to do then?
What am I going to do after? I haven't really decided. I think I should go back to some Blood Bowl.
Yeah.
I think I want to do some more Blood Bowl. I think it's nice to jump between things.
And
I've got a couple of teams that have been waiting some paint.
And then Slanesh.
Yes. Or maybe, I don't know, the army's tempting. I think by then I'll wait and see what we see, because Cursed City is also coming out. I keep saying cursed, don't I? Like I'm in the 1920s.
Cursed City. I don't know, I like it. It's very dramatic. I'm well on board with that. I mean, Cursed City is just something I am very, very excited about. I just hope it
the
lands.
models are just good. It's such a cool direction to go in. I think it's amazing.
I do hope it lands soon enough, though.
Right, so there was a thing I was chatting with a friend about, is they had, if you I can't remember what you did, but there was a way where you kind of, I don't remember what he did, but basically on the website there was this blank thing about the book, and it said it hadn't quite had a header on it. It was like a what do they call it? Like a placeholder header, the article about the book. And if you clicked on that, you got an image saying the book for Cursed City was April. And so but the header said March, and so the placeholder said March, the book said April, but then they're hinting at not releasing much for a little while. I don't know what's going. I don't know when it's coming. I really hope it's soon. The models are amazing, and I want to paint and play it so bad.
There's also they also do run a bit of a risk here. So the most exciting thing about it is that it's solo/co-op. Okay, so right now we all need some really solid solo co-op stuff, and if it doesn't come out till May, the world is going to start reopening, and people are not going to be playing solo co-op stuff. It needs to land. It needs to land reasonably soonish, because then they'll get 3 solid months of buzz of everybody playing it everywhere, and it's going to be amazing. If they drop it at the end of April, I think it's too late, because then everyone's going to be like, "Sweet, got my first tournament in 2 months. Let's get ready." I mean, I
don't know. I think the market for co-op board games is still very much there.
Yeah,
I think
right.
It's most of the board games I play are co-op. I think you have a good group of friends. There's nothing better. I think it's a better atmosphere to play in than competitive sometimes.
I agree.
That being said,
I
do love a competitive game.
Tiff loves co-op games, and we do get it's really good fun, and we've run out of them basically. But so she's like, "Oh, I'll play this with you." I'm like, "Okay, this is on. We're doing this. This is going to be great fun." And I want to kind of run the co-op. I want to run the solo mode, because it's going to be great fun to just do. I want to play through it and do it for YouTube, just because actually it ticks my boxes. That'll be a fun little project, and it's kind of self-contained. However, July is when Blood Bowl begins, in theory, and really want to just do tournament coverage and just have a great time. Really, just love Blood Bowl. And I think, when can we start filming again? Then, Ben, is it kind of June, I guess?
Oh yeah, that would be ideal. Would definitely be ideal.
Yeah,
depends when you can have 2 households inside.
2 households outside is April. 2 households inside is probably May the 17th.
Depends how warm it is. We might be able to do April.
Yeah, get a gazebo. Let's start filming.
Yeah.
That may not be a terrible idea. How can we do that? Would I want to put my stream setup in the garden?
Oh, the lighting. The lighting's going to be horrific.
Yeah, yeah. Just get a big. Anyway, yeah, I am very much looking forward to that game landing. We know nothing about the mechanics yet, at all. Except
all I'm assuming is Blackstone Fortress, but with vampires and dark fantasy, and that's enough for me.
Yeah, I'm on board with that.
Yeah,
I am massively. Yeah, I'm totally on board with that. Right, hobby-wise for me, so started painting the Grebo dwarves, which is awesome. Not really allowed to show them off yet, which is less awesome, but very excited. They're great fun. Like you said, Ben, probably never going to run dwarves, but these teams, they just make me want to run dwarves. And I'm also doing the Sevens roster videos at the moment, and every single one, there's like 2 lists in there at least where I'm like, that would be great fun to play in Sevens. That one would be great fun to play in Sevens. So like, look at the next team, and I just end up getting genuinely excited for every one of these teams for Sevens. I just can't wait to play more Sevens.
I know. The Sevens nights are always such a blast. Like to just cram out some Sevens sessions in a really short space of time.
3 games, 3 hours. Like, it's just awesome. It's just the best way to play Blood Bowl, 100% in my mind. And I can't wait to start doing 7 Super Series again. That's just... That's something that's only a couple of months away, and I'm so jazzed about it. I mean, I'm very excited to get married. Do not get me wrong. I think May's just going to be a great month with a wedding, and then I steal Ben and we film loads of Sevens stuff. So that's cool.
Just like, yes, new wife, I really love you, but my wedding, just straight after this wedding day, get rid of the honeymoon because it's Super Sevens series filming time.
As we can't fly anywhere for the honeymoon, is it okay if I go stay at Entoyment for 4 days and film?
I'm sure it's a great way to start a healthy marriage.
I don't know. If I screw it up in a short amount of time, we can just get an annulment and save the divorce. So yeah. She'll be filming Animal Crossing stuff. That's right. That's
true.
Yeah, that's been quite entertaining as well. So hobby-wise, doing all the YouTube videos, work was hell. Like the thing is, like, the announcement from the government was coming. It was we knew it was coming. It was going to land, and it landed basically exactly as we expected. But somehow that still created a monumental amount of work to achieve in like no time at all, which then just wrecked everything. Like all spare time, all filming schedules. It's like they don't care about Blood Bowl. But that was a pain. So other than painting the ogres, Ben, what's going on in Hobbyland with you?
I've started playing Yu-Gi-Oh.
Really?
Started playing Yu-Gi-Oh, Ben. Yeah. About 2 months ago it was Magic, and now it's Yu-Gi-Oh.
So Magic, they've got the Viking set out at the moment, which is it's quite complicated. I like it, but I don't think it's super. They've got their Strixhaven one coming out soon, which is basically not Hogwarts. That's in April. That'll be good fun. And there's Forgotten Realms. Yeah, there's Forgotten Realms coming in the summer, like August time. And then at some point, they're releasing Commander decks for 40k, for Warhammer 40k.
Oh, have they said it's Commander decks?
Yeah, I heard this on Magic FM. I was listening to it on the way home. But it's going to be Commander decks with 40k stuff. Which is...
Wow, that's way further than I thought.
Well, I think that's perfect. I think the Commander decks is ridiculous at 100. I don't know why they're not going for 70. For just 60 card decks would make much more sense. Like, hey, welcome to Magic. Just shuffle a yard of cards. I don't know about that one, personally. But yeah, the 40k stuff, that's really interesting. I love the mechanics of Magic is awesome. And I don't know, man, it'd just be sweet. Can you imagine picking up an Orcs deck?
That would be quite cool, actually. Yeah,
just sweet. But the other thing is,
Age of Sigmar would have been a better fit though, or Old World. Just because Magic is generally a fairly fantasy theme, right?
It is weird, but I think the IP of 40k is better.
Yeah, that's true.
They've got all the games, all the app games. Age of Sigmar is weird. Like, tabletop players generally love it.
Even Old World though, because then you have the Total War market as well.
Old World would have made sense.
Tabletop.
That's it. Yeah. But I think it's confusing. This is the biggest issue with the way Games Workshop was doing the IP for Warhammer. Is like, here's this amazing PC game, and we killed it on the tabletop, so we can't even sell you models. Here's this really popular miniature game, but doesn't translate well to a computer game because the setting is gnarly and unrelatable. I think is the difficulty with the AOS realms. It's really interesting, but they're also doing a Lord of the Rings expansion for it. Probably same again. But dude, this is awesome. Like, it's just going to be sweet to be like, I'm running my Mordor deck. Like, it's just, they've done
against my Squig deck.
Yeah, they've done good. I think it could be garbage, but I don't know. It's pretty fun. But it's nice to see Games Workshop spreading out. Where is the Blood Bowl Magic the Gathering expansion?
See, we've talked about that before. I think Magic has a really good framework for pretty much anything fantasy setting, with the sense of the whole sort of schools of Magic with like the colors and like that. I don't know if I've spoken about it on a podcast, but one of my favorite comparisons, I can't remember where I heard it from, but it's using the Magic colors in D&D instead of the alignment chart, where you have like instead of your alignment, you're blue, which means you're
horrible.
Your interest is in the pursuit of knowledge and to like have power over others.
Ruin fun for everybody. It doesn't
necessarily make you. It doesn't. There's no real like motive there, but there's like good or bad. It's just you value knowledge and knowing everything and magic over everything else. But then you also have white, where you value order at any cost. That could be you could be like a paladin who believes in order, but like someone commits like a minor crime, you'd consider that awful. It's stuff like that. I think is really awesome, and I think that I think you could even put that into Blood Bowl, where you have like. Instead of your mixed teams, you could maybe have the
dwarf deck.
Alignments.
My red-green dwarf team. That would be pretty interesting.
Yeah. And then you could give them bonuses for that. Oh, that would be awesome.
That would be sweet. The thing, I think they've got a Magic the Gathering Dungeons and Dragons expansion. So I don't know if they just did it in that. Yes, but I think it's been out for a long time. I think they've done several. I think they've done several. But now they're doing the Dungeons and Dragons Magic set, whereas they've done the Magic rules for Dungeons and Dragons before. Because it's the same IP. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see them branching out. I don't think it's going to be something that we see really affect us in Blood Bowl, but more opportunities to play more card games, such as Yu-Gi-Oh, Ben. So how did this happen?
I'll preface it's not tabletop. It's literally I think it's Legacy of the Duelist is the video game, and it was on Switch and it was on sale. And I've got a friend who was really into Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, why not? I'll give it a go, because it basically plays through all the show. It basically plays you play through the show with all the decks they use, and you can make your own. It's got all the cards in one game. You don't have to like spend money on cards like you usually do in these games. You just get all like 9,000 cards or whatever. It's just really good. It's a good game. I've always been really intimidated by it because it looks really complicated, but it's really not that bad. It's a little bit crazy, but I think it's fun.
I downloaded the app for my phone because my brother used to love Yu-Gi-Oh as he was growing up, and I was like, "Oh, this could be cool." And then I don't know, didn't twig with me very well. They've just released another Digimon card game, which looks really basic. Digimon was another massive IP when we were growing up. I was like, "Oh, this is interesting."
I had some Digimon cards.
Yeah, I loved that original card game. That was really good.
Yeah.
I just games, man. There's so many good ones. Not enough time to play any of it.
So true. Or money.
Well, yeah. There's not a lot else to do with the money at the moment, is there? So
that's true.
I'm trying really hard. The printer was kind of my out to stop just randomly picking up stuff.
It doesn't stop anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I've done real well so far. The only miniature I have bought that wasn't directly Blood Bowl related, as in like the Games Workshop release, was a single Mantic ship. That is it.
That's not one.
Yeah, I just picked up one just to get one. Whereas I was like this close from getting the starter set and this close from getting the starter set from Dystopian Wars. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to build them. I'm not going to paint them. So if I want to paint a boat, I'll just print a boat. I printed a boat.
Yeah.
I bought one Mantic boat to compare just the size and the quality and everything. By the way, Mantic boats, a lot of work. That's not the best resin casting.
Really?
Yeah. I'll probably... Yeah. I was like, well, my 3D printed ones are great. Yeah, tough one. And that's cool. Otherwise, the 3D printer has massively decreased the amount of post I get, which is good and bad. I like post. But,
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah.
Buying things is exciting.
Yeah, but
a little dopamine hit of things rushing through the door. It's pretty nice.
I have a very eclectic Warhammer war game taste. So I've like my mini factory basket is full of all kinds of stuff. There's spaceships, there's 3mm Romans. That's like my next when I get bored. I'm just going to print out a little tiny legion Like, that's going to be sweet. But whereas before I would have like gone to Bacchus and just ordered like 30 quid's worth of 6mm miniatures and then painted 4. Now I can just print them and save myself £30, except that I will just, I don't know, it's good. However, printers are not always the easiest, are they, Ben?
No, I've been having issues literally in front of me right now. I've got one of my resin trays dismantled because I keep absolutely screwing up the cheap replacement. Expensive mistakes.
I have a confession to make. You very kindly got me a Christmas present, but before you got me the Christmas present, I pulled the trigger and Amazoned 2 more resin trays for like £24. And honest to God, I think it was just the best thing I ever did. And it's the best £20 I ever spent. I'm like, I know that this is against the thing, but it was just like, you know, the print failed. I really couldn't be bothered. And you know what? It still failed, and it's just one of the trays. And that's
what I did. I've gone past 2 trays, and now I have to start replacing them. So I don't want to buy more trays.
I think that's very fair. No, I like that. But yeah, printers are interesting. I think they are quite similar to airbrushes. I think they're great, and then they go wrong, and then you've got to clean them, and it's just easier to buy a new one.
Airbrush absolutely poops on the printer. If there's a hobby thing you can buy, it's an airbrush, I'd say. Get that over a printer any day of the week. Any day of the week. It's so much better.
Oh, I've just seen that Willy Miniatures, Rich posted this in our group chat. Willy Miniatures 25% off sale at the moment. For all of March. Yeah, for all of March. That's pretty cool. 25% off. Wow. Willy Miniatures do some really good stuff.
Yeah, they do. Their Wood Elf team I really like.
Yeah, they've got some real good. I think Rick's got that one.
Yeah. I think seeing his made me want it.
Really cool. So, doing that, you've been playing some Yu-Gi-Oh! I've been failing hard at Fumble. I was doing really well in our Wobble League. I was like up there with my 4 wins and 1 draw, and then I got just diced by Sam Frenzy Garner. It was awful. It was probably one of the worst games of Blood Bowl I've ever played. Like, he played brilliantly. Like, it was a 4-1 drumming, and every single thing I did failed. Whether it was a 2-die block with a reroll, or just a leap, or a go for it into the end zone, everything failed. It was awful. Then I tilted, absolutely tilted, full on, chose to tilt. I was like, it's been a horrible week at work. I've been looking forward to playing Blood Bowl, and now Blood Bowl will not let me play Blood Bowl. It's like, okay, right, this guy's got dodge, 2+ dodge, let's do that. Nope, failed, turnover, sweet. Like, right, let's take this 2-die block. Yep, skull, reroll, skull, absolutely fantastic. Just like 4 turns in a row, I just did not get to play Blood Bowl. I was like, this is awful. And then blitz. Then I got blitzed as well. I'm like, this is just garbage. I was like, just so destroying. And I tilted, and I knew it. And I was just like, I did not have the mental fortitude at the end of that week. It wasn't even the end of the week, so I had to go in on Saturday and do a disciplinary. And I was just ransacked. My soul was as ransacked as my team was that day. And then my reward was to take what was remaining of my Slan team and play against Chaos Dwarves last night, which was a turn 16 2-1 victory to Simon's Chaos Dwarves. It was real close. Honestly, no, but there was a very close ball steal. And I was like, geez, all right, you know what? I could have won that match. And that was nice. Like, I don't mind losing if I've made the wrong choice, or I've taken a gamble here. Right, this is a gamble. I need to roll a 5+ to get. No, I didn't get it. That's absolutely fine. It's when it's the 97% chance 4 turns in a row, and you're just like, how? However, my Croxicle is now missing for my next game. I'm playing against Trips on Tuesday with his OWA, the bad version from 2016, and I've got a Croxless Slan team now, down to 3 catchers and 79 journeymen. It's gonna be interesting, but it's been amazing to get some Fumble on the go.
That is good, and like, at least we're lucky to have a good set of coaches as well. So at least the crushing defeats aren't, marred by rubbing it in or anything like that.
Oh, no. Sam, bless him, was just like, this is ridiculous, Ben. Like, I'm sorry. He played brilliantly. He positioned himself absolutely right every single time, capitalised on the opportunity. He did play brilliantly. And then shot to the top of the league, and then somehow got destroyed by Ian last night and his halflings. Just at the
halflings.
Yeah, I mean, but Sam did say, like, this is just how it goes. Like, I diced the heck out of Ben last week. Ian diced the hell out of me this week. I think he had 3 or 4 deaths. I think most of them were journeymen, though. So it's all right.
I think I saw.
But just like, whoa, what is wrong with Fumble? Fumble is just having a bad month.
It's taking it all out on the pitch.
I think it's where Krista's like updating it to the Blood Bowl 2020 rules, and it's just like, right, we need people to want to change to the rules. How do we do that? I know. Let's turn the heat up on the RNG. Yeah. Good job, Krista. You did it. It was definitely a week of I hate playing this game. That Friday night game was just... However, it's all exciting. OWA, then I've got Kemri. So, and then maybe the finals. We haven't decided if we're going to do finals or go straight into another league. But
which I will absolutely join.
Yeah, this is it. I thought we could have a chat about the next bit, Ben, just casually on the podcast now, because there's a thing I think would be quite fun to do, and I want you guys out there listening to say whether it's a good idea or a bad idea, whether you're interested, whether you're not interested. But because of my schedule, because of Tiff's schedule, and because of how much I love Fumble, there's a gap in my schedule for 9 o'clock every Friday night. And I thought, Friday night Fumble, everyone loves a Friday night Fumble. So it could be a great opportunity to do a league or a something that plays every Friday night at 9:15. And then every week we could just stream at least one game from this league going on and just follow it through while we're exiting lockdown and coming out. Like a good, I just think it would be sweet. But the idea, which I totally stole from what's College Fumble, is this league that at the moment it's just an insane amount of work. They've custom designed 32 teams, and it's just like they've gone in with some crazy stuff. Like, it's just an amazing amount of work. So really wanted to do a feature on it. But they're fully booked, which is cool. But I thought, well, there's 10 Dungeon Bowl teams. Could we get 10 coaches to play at 9:15 p.m. on a Friday night, and we could just build those Dungeon Bowl teams onto Fumble, which wouldn't actually be that difficult because there's only 10. So, you know, each Dungeon Bowl team is made up of 3 other teams, you know, and you have to change the positionals and stuff. The coach could buy a team in that and just develop them, and it could be really interesting to see those teams with those color schemes play it out, or something like that. But yeah, basically, let us know if there's interest or something in doing a Friday night Fumble League, because I don't know, that'd be cool. It'd be cool. That sounds awesome. It'd be cool to have a weekly purpose again. I'm absolutely yearning after the NFL. Like, Sundays are tough now. There's nothing going on. It's like, oh, this is awful. I miss it. I miss having a thing every week. You know, like, we can talk about this. How's going up? What's the matchup next week? What's happened? Who's developing? Who's great? Who's being terrible? And now
the game outside the game.
The game outside the game. The only game outside the game at the moment is politics, and no one wins at that.
Yeah. I need something to take my mind off of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We need something completely and utterly unimportant to believe in and care about, and this could be it. So yeah, do let us know if it's something that you guys would be interested in seeing, in taking part in, because actually I think we could do something fun for the next couple of months. Yeah,
absolutely.
So, talked games played, talked hobby. I think it's time to talk throwers, Ben. What do you reckon?
Love it.
Right.
Thrower.
Let's move on. Welcome back. It's time for Optimistic Throwers. We just had a 5-minute segue on app games and whether or not Ben wants to shill for Raid Shadow Legends, but I won't let him.
Look. Hang on.
His exact words were "make Raid great again," and I don't know. We had a chat. We had a chat about whether that's appropriate or not. Or listen to the end of the show to hear how upset I am with JLo. That's, anyway, we have returned, and we are going to be talking about optimistic throwers. So I don't even know how this came about. Ben, we were just chatting about stuff. I think is it because of your nobility thrower fetish?
I think it was. Yeah, I think I've brought up a lot of times. I was just like, why isn't he just a human thrower? He is a human who throws. Why is he not a human thrower? Why is it because he's all like up himself, pretentious and noble? He just loses the ability to throw a ball.
I don't know. Right, a straight away question here for you then. Does that make you want to pass with him more or less?
It makes me want to make him good.
Yes.
That's what it does. That's what I have with an ability team. That whole team is suboptimal. I want to make them work. Yeah, 100%.
That's like, does that just legitimately sum up tier 2 teams?
It does. It does. I think the best tier you can play is tier 2. I think my favorite tier to play is tier 2, because it's kind of like you're still in with a shot and you can still play the game. Like Stunty is a meme. You take it because it's hilarious and you can do really funny things.
Yeah.
The tier 1 is just like, yeah, you take a tier 1 team when you want to win, and I think that's totally fine in tournament setting and leagues. It's fine all the time. It's a competitive game.
Yeah.
You play to win. But tier 2 makes you feel like you deserved it.
You've earned it.
Sure.
You brawled it,
yeah.
And it is great fun to make a tier 1 team sweat it out against a tier 2 team, because they're actually pretty close, but they are strictly worse. Like tier 1 teams are just strictly better than tier 2. Like Lizardmen, just strictly better than Black Orcs, like in every way.
Yeah.
But I don't know, actually. I suppose the combat edge, there's definitely a combat edge there with Black Orcs.
I think the Skinks really make it though. They're significantly better than the Goblins, aren't they?
Yeah, 100%. And the extra 2 squares of movement's pretty decent for the Saurus to read it, and the Croxagore is better than the Troll by a massive amount. So yeah, but yeah, there you go. It's just strictly better. The team is built so similarly. And nobility, cracking example. That human thrower versus the noble thrower, just strictly better. No sure hands, passing 3+. Instead of pass 2+, sure hands, pass.
Yeah.
That's just... You don't. There's nothing more you can get. Like the only better thing than that is Edge 2+, and that doesn't exist. Like, which is good, because Edge 2+ sure hands pass would be a just filth starting thrower with Edge 2 pass 2. Like, just that would be horrific. Anyway, so we were chatting about nobility thrower. How do we want to develop him? Because actually, it's cool to have a nobility thrower, even if it's not optimal. It's definitely not right. I guess another disclaimer. Passing is suboptimal. You are rolling more dice. The goal of Blood Bowl is to make your opponent roll more dice than you, because their dice are going to hurt them more than your dice are going to hurt you. That's the goal. And then you just win. That's Blood Bowl in a nutshell. So passing is suboptimal. But it is so satisfying. There is a genuine rush. They're like, I'm going to run this. And I know it. Anything but a 1 is the worst thing you can say out loud. But also, like, I've got this 4+ pass now with the reroll, and it's just, I don't know if it's going to work. Is it going to work? And you pull it off, and you're just like, boom. That was completely...
Yeah, I think the feeling of scoring a touchdown off, like especially like a short or long pass or something like that, is just really, really, really good. Yeah,
that sweet middle range there of like chucking it 6, 7, 8, 9 squares is just like, here we go. The long bomb play is always like a last second, like, let's go for it. But I don't know, being able to rely.
I don't think I've ever seen this. I don't think I've ever seen something score off a long bomb.
Yeah,
I don't think
just that game against Simon where he did it with the Orcs against me. But that was fine. Like, that happens in the NFL. Like, there are those games where there is a last second Hail Mary pass, and sometimes in fact the Cardinals pulled it off this year with the Hail Murray, they called it, because their quarterback was Murray and he chucked it up. And Aaron Rodgers is the Hail Mary king. He's pulled it off more times than he should. Man, I love Aaron Rodgers. Brilliant. Such a great guy. But yeah, there is just something about throwing that is exciting. And yeah, Ben was talking about the ability thrower and how actually it needs some skills to get good. And there is kind of a threshold with throwers where you get good enough. But that kind of made us think, actually, there is definitely a sub-species of Blood Bowl coach that is like, I wish to throw with this thing that I should not throw with. We've seen it in the Zombie League. We've seen it with dwarf coaches all around the world. Like, there's always that sub-thread of like, no, I run a passing dwarf team. Like, you don't anymore. Ask JTY about that and read his article. But there is that subpassive coach that it's like with the tier 2 thing. Like, I want to make this tier 2 team work. You know, there's this. I want to take this tier 2 team and make it work by using a play that is suboptimal. It's like you're like tier 4, you know, tier 2. It's just like there's that extra, like, it's not going to work, but sometimes it's going to work. 1 in 4 games, I'm going to pull off a sweet passing game with my tier 2 team. It's going to be awesome. And
yeah,
it's just, that's something you see in TCG game in CCGs as well, Ben, isn't it? It's like some people are like, yeah, I play this deck. I play this deck because every now and again it combos out and I do this great thing and it's fun. And I think that's what passing is in Blood Bowl.
Especially if you made it, like, and I think that's kind of like we've definitely said with tier 2 teams as well, is a lot of them tend to be kind of like a sandbox. Like, you can build them in quite a few different ways. I mean, that's also the case with a lot of tier 1 teams like humans and stuff, but like we've definitely spoken about different ways to go about nobility, or like even with like differences between nobility and Bretonian, and how you can like how they kind of have wildly different playstyles despite relatively similar teams. I think to take a tier 2 team in particular and build it in your way and make that work, I think is really satisfying.
You build your franchise team and then you end up with something special, that you've earned. And not many other people would play. And that's that RPG element, isn't it? That's that kind of, I have built this. I have journeyed for this. Or, you know, the deck building thing where I have explored, I have experimented, I have built it, I've constructed this. You know, there's the constructed element, and then there's that RPG, I've earned this element. Anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at a few optimistic throwers. Some throwers that just aren't the... So I've been called out on this. I tend to refer to most throwers as the best thrower in the game because, you know, sometimes it's true. These guys are not the best throwers in the game, but they can be very good throwers. So if you watch the NFL at all, okay, these are the Ryan Fitzpatricks of the quarterback world. This is the Andy Dalton, okay? This is the QBs that are either second string or just in the teams that are like in the middle to bottom of the league. Not the Jay Cutlers, not the Mitch Trubiskys. Just the middle ground where you're like, I love this guy. He throws when he shouldn't throw, and sometimes it's awesome. And I think that's probably the tagline. And we're going to have a look at some of those players. So Ben, should we start off with your boy first, the nobility thrower?
Yes. Yeah. I like I said before, I like this guy. I think. Well, let's start also with the Games Workshop model. It's awesome. Oh, there goes the green screen. Okay, we've got a background today.
Oh, that was amazing. That's fine. Just roll with it. Roll with it.
I'll roll with that. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, the nobility guy the model is awesome. I think that's already a winner for my book of
100%
making him work. He's just so full of like haughtiness. Like, yes, I can throw this farther than an ogre can throw a.
Oh my god! Do you know who he looks like? Have you seen Napoleon Dynamite?
I love them, Napoleon Dynamite.
This guy is the uncle. Just look at the model. Look at everything about him. I don't know. I can't remember the uncle's name. Oh, calm down, Microsoft. It's going to be fine. Napoleon Dynamite uncle, because it's
like Chip, is it? No.
Chip or Uncle Rico.
Rico. Oh, it's Kip. Is his brother. That's probably...
Oh yeah, Kip's amazing.
Yeah.
I tell you what, Kip. Everybody knows someone who looks like Kip. And I bet he plays Blood Bowl, and I'm very on board with that. Uncle Rico. Yeah, this guy is Uncle Rico. I want some Uncle Rico.
Yeah.
Cards.
Oh, he is. He really is.
Oh, I just love it more now.
He takes them out to like the plains and just starts throwing balls. Yeah, yeah, definitely that.
How much you want to bet I can throw a football over them mountains? That's this guy. That is this guy. Oh man, I'm gonna watch Napoleon Dynamite after this. Oh,
that's such a good movie,
dude. Have you watched Gentleman Broncos?
I haven't, but I know I named a troll off of. Is that the one where he's like Trelawney?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Truly.
I think one of my trolls on my troll team is Trelawney.
Oh mate, it's such a good film. It's just Napoleon Dynamite, but worse. Like, it's just more awkward. It's just fantastic. Watched it first time drunk, and I've just stuck with me. Ian watched it on a plane and then came back and was like, guys, life-changing moment here. And then, yeah, we all chill out, had some beers, and watched this awful film that's about a kid writing a sci-fi novel, and it's just the most believable movie. It's just so good. Anyway, Gentlemen Broncos, find it. So good. You'll love it if you like awkward films. Anyway, so Uncle Rico on the nobility team.
Yeah.
What are his stats? Let's give a rundown of Uncle Rico.
He is 75k, movement 6, strength 3, edge 3+, passing 3+, armor 9+, and he has pass and running pass.
Okay, so running pass
being the new skill
is quite cool. Like
it is cool.
We don't know how that's going to fit into the team, whether it's there on purpose or whether it's just like shadowing on the chameleon skink, as in like, oh, thank you for that. Yeah, I mean, running pass.
It's kind of like it's a skill where I'm kind of glad they start with it, because I don't think I'd ever choose it first on anyone.
No, I think that's a really great point. They should do more of that. Actually,
they should. Stuff like Fend and things like that as well, which this team has.
Oh my god, are they doing more of that?
Yeah,
they do something right. They've done a lot of stuff right, but yeah, naturally, Fend, stand firm on the other dudes, catch on the blitzers. Yeah, interesting team actually. And grab, I think.
Stuff you wouldn't normally take.
Grab and brawler on the Black Orcs again are two skills you wouldn't take. They're not tier 1 team skills; they're tier 2 skills. It's interesting. Anyway, Uncle Rico, pass, running pass, 3+ for the quick pass. So 3+ with a reroll is reasonably good odds.
Yeah, still pretty good. It's just a quick pass is also kind of nearly a handoff. It's
absolutely most of the time when you come into a 3+ pass, 2 go for it is going to get you that handoff, and 2 2+s. I can't remember what the maths are on this one, but it feels better. In fact, I think it is statistically better. So, 86 times 86. Yeah, maybe not. I don't know. But with a reroll like that, pretty good odds. So most of the time, if you're going to do a quick pass, you're probably 2 go for its away from a handoff instead. So that's kind of If you're a 2+ passer with a reroll, well, that's fantastic. If you're 3+ passer, it's interesting. So this guy, Ben, the first skill you take on this guy to make him a thrower is.
We actually had this debate.
We did.
See, for me, I think you want to go for accurate.
I agree. We were in a meeting. No, wait. I was in a meeting. We were talking about it. Don't know what the meeting was about. But yeah, I remember going away thinking, right, actually, accurate. And it's probably going to be a spoiler. Accurate is probably the first skill on all of these optimistic throwers. Because this guy, it takes you from a 3+ with a reroll, which if you've ever used a human thrower or a Skaven thrower, is just the worst roll you can make, or in fact ever tried to dodge with a human. But taking that to a cheeky 2+ quick pass, well, that is just, you've got the reroll there from pass. That is better than a go for it. It's definitely better than 2 go for it. And then it means that actually 6 squares is 3+ with a reroll, and then that's something that you can buy, isn't it? You look like, right, actually 3+ for 6 squares is something that I'm willing to take a gamble on, because that's a chunk of the pitch. That's halfway to the end zone. It's not. It's slightly under, but it's almost halfway to the end zone. But then if you've got a movement 7 piece or a movement 6 piece with 2 go for it, that is the difference between, that's from the mid line. That's your coast to coast. Okay, that's not true. That's your middle. That's your middle of the country to coast. That's. Plus, this guy's got what? Is he move 6? This move 6? This guy?
He's movement 6.
All right. So that's movement 6 plus 6 squares of passing. That's 12. This is a long way across the pitch with a 3+ with a reroll with accurate, or 2+ with a reroll, and it's going to get you more SPP, Ben, and that's the most important thing I think here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. And you really want this guy to level up really quickly, because the other thing we discussed was, well, is it worth saving up for passing 2+? Because that's kind of built in accurate and cannoneer in one. And worst case, you end up getting more movement, which isn't that bad with running pass, because you still get to use it a lot of the time. Yeah. So I think also saving up for the passing 2+ probably more sensible, which we kind of agreed after accurate, because accurate helps you get there. But I think I'd probably go for that next, just because
I like that. I think pass, go for that accurate, start farming those short pass because you're going to pull it off more often, and you can that glory SPP as well. You're going to have a chance every now and again to do it. Now, one thing here that I do think is quite interesting about this guy is he doesn't have sure hands. I know it's not going to help pass, and I don't think it's needed because you've got the pass reroll already. So one team reroll to pick up the ball should do you okay.
Yeah, but the nobility rerolls are 70k. They're also really expensive.
Well, that's it. I think that having 2 throwers is probably really important. One with block and leader, and one with accurate to be your thrower, and then you save up to take that extra PA. Now, there's a long way to go, and you've got a 50% chance of, so 18 SPP, it's 20 SPP once you've taken your first skill, which is a very long way. But let's do best case scenario mentality first. That takes you to a 1+, 2+. Is that right? If you've got accurate already, you're 2, 3, 5, 6. Then you're 1, 2, 4, 5 with rerolls, and that means you're 75% for what is it? 9 squares, 10 squares.
Yeah.
That again is massive, and I think you called it right at the beginning of the show, Ben, when you said short and long passes. That is where you kind of make your money.
Yeah,
that's when throwing makes a difference. Otherwise, I think a reliable 2+ quick pass is cracking. You're going to farm SPP doing that. Fantastic. It's going to come in handy,
especially with running pass, which lets you make that quick pass and then go and assist or something.
That's exactly it. You can build up those SPPs, and it's going to help. And then, you can roll and take that PA. The problem is, if you don't get the PA, and you have to choose a double at that point, or you're basically getting movement. You can have, if you fail the roll, you're going to get movement or armor, or a secondary skill. The other one you can fail it by is if you get a roll of 15 and get strength or agility. That's going to be a tough one as well. Agility might be tempting.
Accidentally overshoot it.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I wouldn't take strength from this guy. Agility is going to be hard to not take, but if you are literally brewing him up to be a thrower, at that point, it may be worth just taking.
Take agility on the second one who you're building as like a block leader.
Yeah, like that guy. It's basically making a second blitzer.
Pretty much. Yeah.
If you do get a double, though, is there anything you would want to take for these guys?
I kind of wanted to get into that because actually, I'll get into that afterwards.
Okay.
For taking it, I think dodge could be quite handy for them.
Yeah.
Just to help defend or again block. But if you've already got a thrower, I think if you're building a guy as a thrower, I think dodge could be handy. Yeah. Other than that, there's not a huge amount. Strong arm, maybe.
I did wonder if diving catch.
Strong arm's just through a teammate now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's gone now. Diving catch might be useful. Or break tackle. And the reason I say that is because although dodge is great, 3+ with a reroll, you've got that cheeky, actually once per turn I can dodge into the open on a 2+ with break tackle. But again, I just don't know if that's. I just think you were right, Ben. I think actually in that point, because of the doubles, taking movement is better. And this is the only thing I really don't like about the new skill system is let me take a general skill instead. Just let me take a general skill. Because then I can make the roll, and if I don't get it, then maybe I take Cannoneer instead. Maybe I take Nerves of Steel, which I think is a great skill. On the ball.
I was actually going to get into that.
Go.
With Nerves of Steel. I get a bit annoyed with Nerves of Steel and running pass. Like, they added running pass and made nobility team. I think they should have made Nerves of Steel the general skill. Because I think Nerves of Steel gets way more value off of players who aren't passers. Because running pass exists now. For running pass, you can throw it and then run into combat and assist.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like Nerves of Steel, but reversed. Nerves of Steel, you run into combat and you throw it. Or you're already in combat, you can throw it away.
Yeah, absolutely.
But having a noble blitzer have access to Nerves of Steel on a general with running pass is amazing. Because you can lob that in. You can have your thrower, pass the blitzer, run in and go and assist him. The blitzer can blitz out with Nerves of Steel to catch it. So he uses Nerves of Steel, catches it. The thrower then goes and assists. The blitzer now has an assist to do its blitz, get out of the combat, and then go and score. I think that's a really cool combo, which nobility could have pretty uniquely.
I take it the nobles can't even take passing on doubles then.
The blitzers can have passing on doubles, but I think there's so many more better skills to take on general with them.
In fact, they're strength on doubles as well, aren't they?
Yeah, so they're agility general. So you want to go be getting dodge first.
Yeah, you've got to take dodge first on those nobes.
Yeah,
and then maybe diving catch to give you that 2+ receive if you are going to be catchy with them. But that is one really cool thing, is that these catches are so much better than human catches.
Oh well, the humans also get 4 blitzers.
Yeah, they do get 4 blitzers. That is really, really true. Anyway, so with this guy, you want to get him to 2+ quick pass, then save up and just go for that pass plus. And I don't know. Let's say you get the pass plus. All right. Then you are doing everything you want to do with this short dink and dunk passer. And running pass, in a desperate situation, it allows you to just move after the throw and go and block somewhere, go and form a cage, go and add an assist. It is likely to get your thrower murdered, but at least this guy's strength 3 and armor 9+, so he's as resilient as a lineman. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
And I think you take them. I would take them just to have more strength 3 guys on the nobility team. Or sorry,
Edge 3.
Edge 3+ guys.
Yeah, I love the double thrower. Double thrower is great, and I think we talked about this when we talked about the team build for nobility, didn't we, Ben? Is that one, becomes a leader caddy and then gets block, and the other one becomes your thrower, and then you can be sensible about it and probably take sure hands first, or you can be an optimistic thrower kind of coach and take that accurate to get that sweet 2++ on a quick pass, and that's where your game starts lubing up a bit. Because if this guy's got 6 squares of movement, then a quick 3+ pass, then you're moving with a 7 square blitzer, that's 16 squares. That is a massive chunk of the pitch there. And then you chuck 4 up to 4 go for it, so that's 20 squares. That's everything outside of the last 3 squares on your side of the pitch. That is some serious mobility for the nobility.
I'm looking forward to seeing them play. I think they've got a really unique relationship with those blitzers. I'm really intrigued to see. It might be like Cannoneer. They might start wanting to do long bombs more often because the blitzers keep breaking through. We'll see.
That is it. And the other cool thing about this team is that with the bodyguards having wrestle and the linemen having fend, if you want to create a pocket for your passer, they are going to find it really difficult to be able to break through and blitz him. Otherwise, other teams, they just smack a dude, push him where they want, create a hole, run through, blitz your thrower, LOL. But actually with fend, it's going to be difficult. With stand firm on the or wrestle on the bodyguard, it's going to be difficult. You're going to be you're going to have a better front line, which is going to be really good fun because then you can do some silly stuff with your blitzers. And I'm really looking forward to those blitzers. And I'm so upset you can't take 4. I don't understand. Maybe that would have taken them to tier 1. Can you imagine if they'd made this team with 4 blitzers and past 2+ throwers?
It'd be Bretonnian.
Man, it'd be better than Bretonnian because Bretonnian don't have the throwers. They don't have throwers. That would be an awesome team. That would definitely be tier 1 at that point, and you just love it.
Yeah,
then you can see
Bretonnians with a thrower and an ogre.
Yeah. Oh man, that would just be boss. Anyway, so optimistic thrower number 1, the human nobility dude. Right.
What's next?
1, 2, or 3, Ben?
Let's go for 2.
It's the hefty. There we go. Okay, so this one we talked about. I think Ian Warhammer is quite eager to do this as well. The hefty. The reason people love the hefty is that actually, fend is pretty useful. The fact he's got access to passing, so he can sneak in leader, is pretty useful as well. The fact he's armor 8+ is in fact pretty useful for a halfling. Now he does cost 50k, which is very expensive for a halfling, and you can't throw him, which is kind of awkward. Just go watch the game where I played my Skaven against Ian's halflings. Bless him. That was a horrible moment for Ian.
I think trying to throw the hefty.
Yeah, he actually threw the hefty until I was like, hang about, that's the hefty. He was like, yeah. I was like, nope. No. Nope. No one tosses a hefty. So, the thing is, this guy's got passing 3+, and stunties don't get throwing nerfs anymore. They used to have -1 to throw. Now, they've just got, they're slightly easier to intercept, which is fine. That's absolutely fine. But this guy's got passing 3+. He doesn't have pass, but he does get passing on a general skill. So if you want to have a halfling throwing game, then it takes away throw teammate. Okay, you can't throw and throw teammate at the same turn. Baffling. I really don't think that's something that I would consider to be broken as a tactic. But yeah, it can't do it, so that's a bit of a shame. However, like, just imagine the stunty quarterback here. This guy here, 5 squares of movement, chucking a cheeky 3+ pass, 3+4+ to that catcher, and then absolutely stretching the play. Like, come on, that is a moment that everybody can get behind.
Yeah, and the catchers of sprint, like, you can imagine them really just gunning it for the end on their little legs.
Just going for it. Good. Like 5 squares of movement, a cheeky 3-square pass, that's 8 squares. He's got sprint, that's another 8 squares. That's 16 squares. That's from the kind of just around the line of scrimmage into the end zone on a halfling pass play. Like, yeah. You are now talking. And I know that technically the right thing to do with a hefty is probably to take leader, so you've got one more reroll for the rest of your team. But what if actually that's probably not right. I think
they've got the chef.
Well, they've got the chef. They've got the chef for the rerolls, but I think the right skill to take is on the ball, actually, so that you can use this guy to make those 3 extra squares, to give the ball, to hand off the ball to the guy you're going to throw with a tree. I think that's probably the right thing to do. Or you can take accurate and just throw at every single opportunity for a cheeky 2+ pass. And I don't think you need to do anything else after that, except, yeah, then you can take on the ball. And then you've got this movement 8 2+ passer on your halfling team. I just think
that would be awesome. And he's only 50k. Like, that is a key thing on this. They are expensive for a halfling, but for a thrower, that's actually pretty cheap. If they have accurate, I mean, they'd be what, 60k? But
70k, I think. Yeah, 70k for a chosen skill. Right. 70k, there you go. 70k, movement 5, passing 2+. Like, that's
that's not that good, actually.
It's really not that good. But halflings, spoiler alert, really not that good.
Yeah.
But you talked about it when you talked about tier 2 teams, Ben. Just the opportunity to build something, not necessarily unique, but something memorable. Rare. Yeah, something memorable. Like, I have a halfling quarterback. Jerry the Hefty Jez is the kind of... He's just going to do a quick pass to that catcher. And, I don't know, that's just so dramatic. And it's only 1 skill away.
Yeah. And hey, they start with dodge and fend. Those are actually pretty good skills for a thrower. Like, that is, someone tries to block you, they're just making it easier for you to get away and throw it. Like, if they block you and roll a both down, or sorry, defender down, you're just getting pushed and they can't follow up. You're free. You don't even have to dodge out.
Yeah.
And then you can just run away.
I love it. I think it's completely and utterly suboptimal, and it's very optimistic to brew it up. But there are going to be people out there, and I know that you're listening. I know that you're listening right now, and you're like, oh, that is actually a great idea. That is actually great fun. I mean, I think saving up for the SPPs to go for the Pass Plus is obviously the right thing to do, but that's incredibly optimistic. But imagine that. Imagine a Pass 1, 2, 4, 5 thrower on the halfling team. But you know what, Ben? This is something that we could have talked about with the nobility one. Is if you go and save for that Pass Plus first, Pass Plus, that's the driving test thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right. For the plus passing, before you do that, then you can, instead of taking accurate, go for cannoneer.
Yeah.
Then your 3+, 4+, 3. No, wait. If you got plus pass and cannoneer, it's 2+, 3+, 3+, 4+. And with slow movement,
4+ long bomb with a reroll.
I know, right? Well, you have to then take pass as well. But yeah, it's a 75% chance to just have a ridiculously good time.
It's also a pretty decent chance to throw it behind you.
Yeah, because the further you try and throw, the more chance you have of throwing it in a random direction. Basically, if you try a wildly inaccurate pass, for every minus, you increase the chance of you just kicking the ball off from your square, which is a problem, I'll admit. But it's not a problem if you're making a quick pass on a 2+ with your halfling hefty. And I love this idea. I think it's a terrible idea. But I don't know. I just think
It's cinematic.
It's just fun, you know, and you will always remember the halfling quarterback that was in your league.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be thousands of teams, and when it comes to halflings, most of them are cookie cutter. That would definitely not be cookie cutter. You know, I love that. Right. Who's your next choice, Ben? We'll talk about a couple more and then we'll move on.
Yeah, I think, should we talk about the chameleon skink?
Oh, yeah. Boom. I mean, it's a pretty similar discussion here, except for one core thing, Ben. And what's the brilliant thing about the chameleon skink?
I would say, well, okay, I'd say there's two things. I'd say movement 7, but also on the ball.
Yeah, so actually movement 10 when you are receiving the ball then. Ben, you're exactly right. That is ridiculous. So chameleon skink, 0 to 2, 70k. Movement 7, strength 2, agility 3+, passing 3+, armor 8+, dodge, on the ball, shadowing, and stunty. So everything we just said about the halfling hefty applies here, with the exception you don't have fend. But you've got movement 7 and on the ball for 20k more than that hefty. That's crazy. Yeah. That's crazy.
That's super value.
So you know what, Ben? You've called it there. Let's say on the ball is worth 1 square on average. Okay, that means this guy is 3 squares of movement better than the hefty. That basically makes him passing 2+. I know that is a massive oversimplification. Yeah, right. No, it's basically the best passer in the game at that point.
We're talking suboptimal passes. Yeah. It's like the community now, best passer in the game.
But seriously, 3 squares of movement is +1 to passing.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that is true.
So this guy being able to move 7 squares and then chuck the ball 3 squares is massive. And then does he get passing on I assume he gets passing on a normal.
He doesn't.
He doesn't.
That's what I was going to get into. That's definitely what makes him suboptimal.
Take it away, man. Take it away. So
yeah, well, it's. What do you, I didn't know if you meant for me to take it away, or if you're just like, no, take away passing as a secondary and stick it on.
Oh yeah, no. Well, that would be the dream, but no, I mean,
yeah,
that's a pretty brutal downside.
It is
for what we're talking about. I mean, but
I don't think lizards need it. I don't think they need it.
They don't need it at all, but they've got it. And there are going to be some coaches out there that are like, actually, you've got to. The proper way to play lizards is to just take block on all of your Sauruses, save up for block on your Croxigore, and then fire skinks as soon as they level up. That is the correct way. And I don't think those coaches are even running chameleon skinks. But there is another breed of coach that's like, let's do this. Let's do something different. I'm going to take a chameleon skink. I like on the ball. Let's go for it. Let's use these squares. Let's do something slightly different. So, doubles for passing. Accurate makes him a 2+ quick pass. Cannoneer makes him a 3+, 4+, 4+, 5+. Cloudburster does nothing. Dump off. Not ideal. Fumblerooski, not great. Hail Mary pass, not great. Leader, useful, but not what we're trying to do here. Nerves of Steel is alright, but when you're stunty, Nerves of Steel doesn't help, because that just means that someone is going to be rolling an interception roll with that bonus. On the ball, he's already got it. Pass is good. Running pass is useful. Safe pass is okay. So you don't even want to take a random for that passing, do we? Because it's accurate, cannoneer, and pass are basically the only things there that you want.
I think in the case of the Lizardman team, I think you'd generally be better off just taking catch on a skink and handing it off to the chameleon. Using that movement 10 on the ball to get closer. They pick up the ball and get closer, and then use the skink's move, or the whole skink general movement.
Yeah.
Your advantage in handing it off and just getting catch on a normal skink. I think that could be pretty good. So don't rely too much on throwing it, because when you start getting those double passing skills, it gets expensive.
Okay, so
very expensive.
What about this? What about, instead of going, because we can't spend 6 SPP and take that skill straight away, why not with a chameleon skink? Just go for that stat up immediately. Just save it. You're saving the TV, and then you either end up with a passing 2+ movement 10 piece or a passing 3+ movement 11 piece. because the downside of movement 8, I think, is way better. Now, I think the higher the movement, the better the improvement, with the exception of Treeman. 2 to 3 is the best movement increase. Other than that, the higher you go, the better. So 8 to 9 is the best. 7 to 8 is massive. This guy, getting movement 8, he's got dodge, he's got on the ball. That's 11 squares. And yeah, that's massive. I actually think if you want to be throwing, if you want to have a quarterback as your skink, do it. Maybe save up and go for that pass plus first, with the downside of a movement 8 chameleon skink. And that does combo with shadowing pretty well, and that does combo with on the ball pretty well, and it does mean that actually your movement 8, 9, 10 with the sprints, then a cheeky 3 square, that's 13 squares for a quick pass on a 3+, to give it off to a movement 8 skink that by then has probably got sprint. So that's immediately, that's like 24 squares.
So do you think you would try and prioritize scoring with the chameleon?
I think so.
To get him to that level up?
I think so.
Yeah.
And, movement 7, stunty dodge, I know that skinks are awesome. And that does, in my opinion, demonstrate the difference between movement 7 and movement 8. I know we talked about this before about movement 7's great. I'm like, yeah, but going from 7 to 8 is just much better, because you look at the chameleon, you're like, it's movement 7. You look at the skink, you're like, well, man, skink's awesome. Movement 8, boom, that's just so much better. It is so much better. So actually, the downside of ending up with a movement 8 chameleon skink is something I'm all right with, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, probably too optimistic here for the chameleon skink, but that's okay. Right, Ben, we had 2 other guys. We'll pick one. It's either the Dark Elf Runner or the Goblin Bruiser.
Now, we have had 2 Santies. I think we should probably talk about Dark Elf Runner.
Okay, so the Dark Elf Runner.
Yeah, I think this is definitely something which always comes up with, when we talk about Dark Elves, is all the other elf teams. I say all the elf teams. The other elf teams have throwers that throw on a 2+. Dark Elves don't. They've gone more towards the bash, and they have their runner, who strictly speaking by name isn't a thrower. But he has better passing than the rest of the team. He gets passing on a normal, and he's got dump off, which literally a skill which makes him pass. So I think it's definitely fair to call him a thrower. It's another case where, yes, this player is suboptimal, but kind of in a way, if he was passing 2+, I think Dark Elves would be absolutely bonkers.
I think he should have got. I think he should have got Nerves of Steel instead
of dump off.
Yeah, but they've always had dump off. I get it.
And I think it kind of make him too similar to the Pro Elf. I think it's quite nice to have something quite unique with dump off. Again, like the skills you don't normally take.
Exactly right. This is the fend for throwers. This is the fend of throwing skills. Yeah. Okay. So the runner. The great thing about the runner is his movement 7 adds 2+. He's gonna get 2 touchdowns. He's gonna get 2 touchdowns real quick. The only reason he won't get 2 touchdowns really quick is because you've farmed them off to the blitzers and they've got touchdowns instead. And you know what? That's okay. Like, if the reason I'm taking ages to develop my thrower is because my blitzers are amazingly godlike, well, you're fine, buddy. It's okay. So yeah, I mean, AGP. The runner is a really interesting one. The difficulty here is that Dark Elves are proper expensive. You normally start off with 2 rerolls, so that leader is real tasty to get your reroll count up. Versus, and I think the difficulty here with the runner is you need accurate and pass. However, that's only 14 SPP. That's 5 touchdowns. You are 5 touchdowns away from having a 2++ quick passer. And I think at that point, that optimism goes away a little bit, because that is a very effective. A movement 7, agility 2+, pass 2++ dude. And dump off just gets better in that situation as well. Like, you don't ever want your ball carrier to be hit, but if he's going to get hit and it's going to be a quick pass on a 2+ with a reroll because you're making a pass, well, then dump off gets real good. And that's definitely something, is that I don't know if accurate does. I assume that for some obscene reason that accurate won't help you on the dump off. I assume it does, but you never know.
It does. It's accurate is when they perform a quick pass, and dump off is you may perform a quick pass action.
I don't trust it. We'll have to check the rule book. That sounds like something they would hurt us on. But yeah, I mean, accurate or pass I think accurate is probably the right thing to do here with this guy. If you
I
want
think
him
so.
to be a thrower.
It straight up complements the dump off, like you say.
Yeah.
Turns the normal like the it is, I think it's just a really good way to go. It's you're just competing with stuff like dodge, but I think kind of dodge will keep him alive a bit longer because he is only armor 8+.
Yeah, dodge is going to be good, but I guess on the Dark Elf team, as you brew up, 2 of your blitzers are going to get dodge early on. One of them is going to save up to get a combat skill like guard, and the other one's going to save up for a stat up. Like, you've got 4 blitzers, and by that point, you've bought another Witch Elf. You've bought the 5th player, which is the Witch Elf, or your 4th blitzer, one or the other. So you've got 5 scoring threats. So having somebody who's movement 7 that can 2++ a quick pass off and 15 SPP is nothing for elves. It's 5 touchdowns, but once you've taken accurate, you've got accurate, that's 2. Then you need 8 SPP, which is 2 touchdowns and 2 quick passes. And you know what, guys? That's only 2 games. That's one game.
Dark Elf team, that's pretty easy to do, I think.
Honestly, if you were like, you know what, my jam with this Dark Elf team is I want to have a Dark Elf thrower. I want to have a Dark Elf thrower.
Yeah.
Well, score 2 touchdowns with this guy in your first game, then take accurate. And then the next game, score 2 touchdowns with this guy and throw 2 passes. By the end of game 2, you have now got an edge 2+, passing 2+, passer. And then it becomes a real thing. Like, at that point, because you've got 5 movement 7 scoring threats that are edge 2, and this guy being movement 7 as well means that all they have to do is either risk a cheeky 3+ pass because they're in 1 tackle zone, or just take a 2+ dodge away, and by that time they've all got dodge. They dodge away, and then you just throw them the ball. This is not that far. This is a lot closer than I thought. I think you're right.
It's just the starting position and the vulnerability of, like you say, Dark Elves are expensive. As soon as you lose a player, they become way more valuable.
That's true.
Your Witch Elves, I've seen Witch Elves do go down. Frenzy usually takes off the Witch Elf themselves.
Yeah.
And you do spend a lot of time trying to recoup that cost. And I think like you say, it's your focus is the blitzers, and I think if you lost your runner, you're gonna just be like, I don't want to have to pay for him because like my blitzer's missing next game and all of that, and then he's getting injured, and I can see this happening with Dark Elves. But like you say, I think it's definitely something which, if they do stay around, these can become pretty crazy.
And this is legitimately suboptimal. But this is the kind of suboptimal thing that it's going to work. Like, and your opponent's going to go, geez. Like, what are you doing? 2+ quick pass with pass. Sweet.
You've got an Elf Union team that also has 4 blitzers that just ruin your day.
And let's face it, otherwise the runner is literally just a reroll caddy. I mean, on the ball is awesome as well. I think I would take leader then on the ball, probably with my runner in a standard Dark Elf team. But if you're like, you know what, Dark Elves can throw, I've got a point to prove, which I think is what this thread is all about. This segment, isn't it? It's just like, I'm going to throw with this guy. I know that's not the right thing to do, but I'm going to do it. And it's going to be like, hey, that's cool. Remember that player.
And he has the advantage where anyone he throws to is still catching on a 2+. So,
Yeah, you said this.
It's easier to get completions than most other teams.
Oh, yeah. That's it. He's going to farm those SPPs. I mean, there's no reason, you can just spend your game handing the ball off to him and then quick passing it back and then handing the ball off to him and quick passing it if you really want to. I mean,
it's very healthy, isn't it? To just show off.
It depends what you want to do. I mean, that's the great thing about this version of Blood Bowl is because those SPP buys happen. I'm quite happy. I would happily tank a couple of games to specifically level up one player for the league. Like losing a couple of games to create a player that you want that's going to help you win the rest of the season and go into the next season is nothing. I think it's perfectly acceptable to tank quarter of a season, half of a season to win the next one. I just think that's something that if you've got a solid environment, and especially when we see BB3 land, I think it's going to be something we see slightly more often now. Because back in the day it was like, well, I'll just play and hope I get a randomly good roll. Well, now it's like, actually, I do want guard on this Dark Elf, therefore I will take less touchdowns to specifically score with this guy. I am willing to take a 2+ handoff risk to make sure I score with the right blitzer so that I level him up the way I want to level him up. And it's the same with all these throwers. Once they've got that cheeky 2+ pass, they are gonna get more SPP. Sometimes it's gonna help win the game, and sometimes it's gonna help lose the game. But that's passing for you, and that's kind of, if that's fun for you, like it is for us. It's not. Don't do it at tournaments unless you are just going for the lols. In which case, let me introduce you to the scroll build for Necromantic, because you're gonna love that one. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Once per game, what is it like? It's like a 3+ long bomb with a reroll.
Yeah, the strength
to a werewolf. Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's just like, if you're the kind of player that wants to just meme build something and do something different, and that's the cool thing about Blood Bowl, is you can play to win, you can play to have fun, or you can play to be different. And I think there's so much there. You just, like, every team can do something different, something suboptimal, and it'll be fun. Anyway, Ben, anything else on optimistic throwers before we bounce into the last segment?
I think that's just about it. Just make, like, I would encourage using it, because I think it's pretty neat to make a thrower kind of like your star. I had that with my high elf team. I think the high elf throwers are really good. They're not suboptimal, but it's really cool to have that thrower as your key player. He's the one that makes the plays happen.
It's just
why they have leader.
It's a great story. A great story.
Yeah.
Groovy. Right, we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. So this episode is basically passing themed, because it's kind of, it's another area of Blood Bowl to explore. So this is something that Ben wanted to chat about, because we've talked about it loads of times. So Ben, give us the rundown. What is this and why are we talking about it?
So it was something we were sort of talking about when we were discussing this episode's ideas. We were just like, well, what, how could it improve? Why is passing kind of this thing that I kind of don't want to do? How do you make it something you want to do? Because it really is a key part of the game, right? And like American football itself features passing. That's absolutely a thing that they practice. It's not something which is just like you never want to pass the ball because it's disaster. It's a team game, and you pass to your teammates. They have a whole skill tree for passing. They've got rules like animosity, which makes it harder to pass. They've got so many things around the game that feature around passing, which isn't always something that comes up. Absolutely, it does in a lot of games. I love passing. I try to do it as much as I can, despite the odds, because I think it's really cool.
Hey, I've seen you play Skaven, where you dodge away with your linemen just all the time. Just
3+, the odds are good. I play 40k. Space Marines are good at shooting.
They're good at saving as well. Actually, that's a fair point.
Yeah, 3+ is good in 40k. But yeah, it's just a key part of the game, and I think we're also quite keen on making up rules and playing with fun and wacky things. So I thought, well, what could we change in the game to make passing good, or suggestions that you could implement into a league or a tournament, just to encourage that passing game and get your SPP. Because completions are cool, and we could start with that. We could say, how about making completions 2 SPP rather than 1?
Well, that would have made the last topic way more exciting. If actually on that 2+, you just boost it up. Now, the guys who are already 2+, that would potentially be totes OP. So for those elves and those Skaven throwers who are 2++ with a reroll, like, that's just free SPP. However, it would absolutely encourage passing.
How about this then? If it was 1 SPP for a short or quick pass,
there you go.
2 SPP for a long pass, 3 SPP for a long bomb.
Ooh, that would be quite interesting. I will see. It's difficult, isn't it? It is difficult.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think it would make skills like Cannoneer a lot more desirable. Because at the moment it feels like Accurate is really the one you want, because you'd rather make the slightly more easier passes easier.
Yeah.
You just want to make that. You want a sure thing as much as possible, right? You don't want to start closing the gap at the top, even though you haven't quite got to the easy bit yet.
Part of me wants
yeah, I
to
think
say
yeah.
that you get SPP equal to your passing stat if you make a completed pass, would also be quite entertaining.
So the better you get, the worse reward it is.
Yeah, difficult to track, and obviously we're spitballing here. I think actually, you know what, you 1 SPP for a quick and short, and 2 SPP for a long or long bomb is potentially slightly more rewarding, and probably a more balanced way of doing it. But I do love the idea of making a cheeky 4+ pass and getting 4 SPP. That's ridiculous, actually, now I've said it out loud. But, you know, I definitely, like, if there was more reward to passing, or more reward to the more difficult elements of passing, then, yeah, that would be interesting to see. So
that's what you mean. So you said if they have 2+, it'll be totes OP. Give them 3 SPP for a pass. But would you not see it more? Like, isn't that like kind of what we're saying? Is if it is totes OP, people would love to do it, and you'd see passing all the time. And I think that's really quite cool.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, it's going to make teams like Skaven just absolutely obliterate, probably, because they're going to start getting skills on their throwers like Cannoneer, and then maybe even passing 1+, and they're just going to be long bombing it to Skaven gutter runners at the other end of the pitch. And
I guess the point is here that we want to encourage the 3+ passes and the 4+ passes, don't we? That's where it's at. Do. Like, you want your Goblin Bruiser, you want your Ogre to make a pass and be like, sweet, nice job, buddy, have 2 SPP. You know, because that's just something cool. And we love the fact that landing throw teammates on a superb pass now gets you an SPP. Like, that's just awesome. But, you know, it's consumer culture here, guys. We want more. We want more changes, more.
But let's go with what you said there, where we have, you want to encourage 3+ passes. This was the second point we had, where what if you could, for every X completions, successful completions, get a passing stat?
Passing stat or passing skill?
Or a skill. Or a skill. Let's just say a +1 to passing or a skill. Let's say 10 completions. Outside of the SPP system, every 10 completions a player performs, they can upgrade their passing stat. Or get a random normal skill. Or just a normal passing skill.
Yeah.
Normal passing skill.
Yeah. I mean, it would make a lot of sense for the thrower to be getting throw-in skills. Like, absolutely would. And yeah, it's interesting. Because you kind
I think that would... Yeah, because I think the 2+ passes would still get that. But would they go for the passing 1+? Probably. But even if they get to that...
Ben.
Even if they get to that point...
What about this?
Maybe... Oh, sorry, Karen?
What about this? It basically, if a player has the pass skill, half it. So those players that don't have the pass skill, so the non-throwers, then, you know what, 1 for 1. They make 3 completions, they get 3 SPP, you know, or whatever it is, you know, and they get a chance to go for that passing plus or that pass stat. But once you've got pass, it's halved, so that you're kind of encouraging the non-throwers to throw. Because all throwers start with pass. They don't all start with sure hands. They don't all start with, you know, a decent passing stat.
All but the hefty.
Yeah. Well, that's an optimistic pass. But that's my point, is that guy doesn't start with pass. So rewarding him to make those passes would help get him past quicker. And I like that. And then you can brew him up. It's kind of, this is kind of like I'm going to say career. I don't know what it's called in D&D. Class, I guess?
Okay. I
don't know if that's well, maybe I'm thinking back to Traveller, the old RPG, and you have a career, and the stuff you do during that career helps you get better at that career. And it's kind of like it's like a type, isn't it? It's this player is a thrower type player. That means that they can take these, and we get that with the skill sets that we've got now. It's just, I think we want to be able to take an ogre thrower, and actually just having that class-based system of I'm going to earn this by doing the passes. I'm going to pass and I'm going to grind until this guy can throw. You know, and to be honest with you, there's an element there of actually causing casualties, or causing fouls and earning you sneaky git is just something that actually wouldn't...
Yeah, I think that's really cool. it sort of rewards skills as like you've
earned that
I guess
skill.
in D&D it would be like feats, maybe
Yeah,
it's feats.
yeah.
You know, when you kind of like you hit a threshold, and you're kind of like an achievement almost. You know,
Yeah.
achievement unlocked.
Achievement unlocked. You completed 10 passes.
You completed 10 fouls, you get sneaky git.
Yeah.
You completed 10 completions, you get +1 to pass.
Yeah, level 1 sneaky git, level 2 dirty player. Go nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
And then you can progress them in other ways. You don't have to dedicate yourself to doing that strict, right, I need to get all the SPPs I can, I need to perform touchdowns to get better at passing. What?
So what about if you just were a league commissioner and you just blanket out there, said if someone gets 6 completions, they're allowed to buy the passing, they're allowed to buy the skill pass. You know?
I think that would definitely help. It's not going to help me and my nobility throw. So
It isn't going to help the nobility thrower at all. But, you know, we'll start with the lower down guys than the nobility thrower. You know, no one who isn't a thrower, no one who doesn't have pass has got a passing stat of better than a 3+. And there's only a couple that don't have pass that actually do have a passing stat of 3+. And I think it's literally just the Hefty and the Chameleon skink, isn't it? I don't think there's anybody else that's got a passing 3+ that doesn't have the skill pass.
Oh, Elven Union.
Oh, maybe the Blitzers do, actually. I think maybe the Blitzers do.
Oh, the Blitzers, sorry, yeah. Yeah, Blitzers.
Yeah, and they got pass access anyway, haven't they? So, quite a few Blitzers, surely not. Just the Elven Alliance, sure, just the Elven Union.
Human one? No, okay, they don't. Yeah, okay.
Elven Union, yeah, Blitzers passing 3+, Edge, Edge and General passing on a secondary. So yeah, they would be probably the people who would get that best. But actually, them earning pass isn't going to be conducive for the Blitzer. Them being able to buy pass outside of the skill tree allowance, and I guess that's kind of what we're looking at, isn't it? Is like either a league-based reward, you know, or which I do think can be directly linked to the player's passing stat. You know, so the worse you are at passing, the more kind of subsidy you get if you become a successful passer. I don't know, there's just something in that. I just like, actually, I want someone who repeatedly throws with a snotling to be able to be rewarded with something unique and odd. You know, I want the hefty quarterback to be a real thing, because it is just stupid and it is suboptimal. And if someone's power gaming, then you want to slow it down. You don't want them to break it. But if they're taking something that really is average and just making it better in a unique and risky way, I think that's worth enabling, I guess.
I totally agree. And this like sort of achievement system, I think definitely people would endeavour to achieve those.
That's interesting.
Sure. Especially if you had them for other things.
Yeah. I mean, it's really interesting, actually. Like having a halfling thrower. Like, it's just...
It doesn't add to his TV. It's like independent of the skill system.
It's just something else that you can tag on. But you know what? Maybe it's just one per team.
Yeah, sure. The first time you achieve it, you can give that skill to them.
Yeah,
and then you've done that achievement. You can't unlock it again. So
if you want to do it with your old Blitzer, you can. But then he's got a skill. I do think the skill should cost TV, but maybe it doesn't cost SPP.
Yeah, I think the only reason I would say it wouldn't is because it further incentivizes you to do it. When there's a downside, it makes you not want to do it as much. But then maybe I think
20k is okay. But what it does do is it stops that Elven Pro Elf Blitzer from just. I guess it's just
and the Dark Elf Runner.
Dark Elf Runner I don't mind so much. Like,
okay,
the Blitzer is already a great other piece. It'd be like making a War Dancer a great thrower.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know if I want to do that. I mean, at the moment, a War Dancer's passing on a 4+, I think. Even with pass, that's not great. Like,
as in, yeah, it's okay for the game.
Yeah, if you want the War Dancer, to be your thrower on your team, then. But you know what? Fair enough. If that's what you want to do with your story, is this War Dancer, while I can do War Dancer things, is actually going to be a really good thrower. Like, and
Yeah.
I can
And I mean, yeah,
earn the
if
pass
this
skill.
Wood Elf coach is throwing the ball with their war dancer, they're not war dancing.
That's it. We're rewarding them for doing something that is suboptimal because it's more. There's a story there. You're building that narrative. I mean, ultimately, I think the people you want to reward the most for throwing are trolls, because a troll or a tree quarterback is just fantastic storytelling. Like,
Absolutely.
a troll quarterback, man.
You'd reward them for throw teammates as well. It's just passing the ball.
No, pass doesn't work for a teammate, does it? You know, this is my troll quarterback. One day there will be a troll team. It will be trolls and it will be snotlings, and it will be awful. But I want I want a sweet passing 4+ pass troll quarterback, because that, my friend, would be memorable as you can imagine. And that is the kind of thing that this skill tree can aid you in your goal of. You know,
yeah.
Just like, actually, I want to pass the ball with my troll. Why? That's a terrible idea. But, yes, but
Because he could probably huck it way further than anyone else could. You can imagine him striding out, just lobbing it down the pitch.
Such a sweet story, man. That would just be absolutely awesome. That should be I think players that have throw teammate should count their throw balls as one zone closer. I just think that's
a long pass to a short pass. A normal long pass is a short pass to a big guy.
Yeah, that's basically what I think. They should just get +2 to passing, just for the sake of it, just because actually that's awesome.
Yeah,
and it's still not very good odds at all. No, I like that. Now, one other thing.
You think how else would you improve the passing game?
Well, this is it. Is that you can incentivize it. Like, this is what we're talking about, incentivizing. But if you just want to go and straight switch up the meta, and I'm going to pluck something out of NFL lore here, is, you know, you can have and introduce a ball rule. Okay, everybody's heard about Deflategate, where a team supposedly deflated the ball so it made them easier to catch. Well, actually, if you had overinflated and deflated balls that you can just use, so deflated balls +1 to catch. Okay, let's face it, actually, +1 to catch would be great, but at +1 to pass with overinflated balls, for example, would really open up the field. And while it's like, oh yeah, but the 2+ passes, yes, but a 1+ does not exist. If you roll a 1, it's a fumble. So whether you are 2+ing a quick pass or 2+ing a short pass, it's the same odds at that point. What it does mean is it makes everybody slightly better at throwing, and then it brings linemen. Linemen can then throw on a 3+. I remember that from back in the day of me playing fumble this week. You know, it's a thing. It's not ideal, but it's a thing, and you're going to see that. Or you just remove the penalty for long bomb and long, or something. I think that's the key, Ben. I think trying to find a way to trick people into passing long passes is when the game gets real exciting.
Yeah, I agree.
Which makes no sense. But there's just something about that. Basically, when you are passing further than you can move, that's when it gets exciting.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why would you do this rather than a handoff?
Yeah.
Other than tackle zones?
Yeah, that's it. You can run around, then throw it 7 squares. And I do think that, you know, having some kind of like overinflated ball where it's +1 to passing, or just they have the cannoneer skill. Like at that point, if they've got cannoneer, they get double cannoneer. Okay, because that's great.
Yeah.
But, you know, having that, or you know, having a ball that basically means that everybody gets diving tackle. Diving catch, sorry, diving tackle. That would be an awful game. And they get shadowing too. For, you know, but you know, having a ball that floats around. So diving tackle just gives an accurate pass +1 to catch, and because it's easier to grab, everyone around gets a go. I just think those two things would open up the passing game. However, and this is the other thing I was thinking about, Ben, is when and how, in what environment does passing become really good? Like, why would you pass rather than run? Like, what would have to happen to the pitch, to the actual physical movement environment, At what point does a throw become better? Like, how? I was thinking about this. I was like, is it having low terrain on the pitch? Is it having mud? Is it having movement halved? Is it like, at what point does that throw become something real special?
I'm not sure. I know in sevens, throwing is actually pretty damn solid, right? Because of that shorter movement. You know, suddenly adding squares of distance means a lot more when the end zone is so much closer.
The end zone is the same amount. The end zone is still 13 squares, but you're right. You've got that no man's land, so you have
and
more
it's narrower. So you even just like the passing, swapping sides is a lot easier to do.
Actually, that's a good shout. But you've got more space. There's more. It's easier to free yourself up, I think. And at that point, that pass is going to be an auto score.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say auto score. You still got to throw the ball, then you still got to catch the ball. But it definitely. I don't know. Maybe that's it, Ben. Maybe we just love sevens because actually, passing's a thing in sevens, and running around is a thing in sevens. And I think nobility are going to be sweet in sevens. 2 blitzers, an ogre, a thrower walk into a bar, and they win games because they took accurate. You got two blitzing blocking catchers, and an ogre to muscle, and some fend linemen to protect your thrower, and then some cheeky quick and short passes, dink and dunk, score those TDs. Nobility for sevens 2021. Let's do it.
Maybe they're a sevens team. Yeah, are they going to be in the Super Seven series?
Absolutely.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Black Orcs, Snotlings are the 3 absolute definites. We've got 2 more teams to pick. Necro might be worth. There's Necro, there's Underworld, there's a whole bunch of other interesting teams. But those 3 have to be in it because they're just awesome. And I want to see
make the passing game happen. That's going to be the rule for the Necro team in Super Seven series. They're going to be a passing, not Necro team, the nobility team.
Nobility, 100%. 100%. I think that will actually work out really well. And they're not even penalised for only being able to take 2 blitzers as well. Because that ogre is a decent upgrade. Anyway, so you can change the ball rules. I actually do think that some kind of movement adjustment to the pitch would make throwing really, really important. So I'm thinking like this is real outstretched. I think the most logical way to do this is like mud or water. Or ice, there used to be rules for ice pitches where the extra go for it's, are slower. So when your movement is slower, I think the pass becomes more important because if you give the ball to a guy and then it wanders up, we just said it. It's when your throw is longer than a movement in one turn, it becomes profitable. And if you're playing on a slower movement pitch, for some reason or not, or whatever, or there's actually, you can't move diagonally because there's stuff in the way or whatever. Having players spread out creates those passing options. And at that point, it's better to hang back, watch the pitch unfold, and then pick somebody to throw to. Most of the time in Blood Bowl, I have one target right now, and that's that guy, and I need to get to that guy. And normally I can just walk to that guy, fist bump him, tap elbows, give him the ball, and off he goes. But actually, if you create a situation where there are multiple targets, that creates a really exciting element of the game where your opponent is like, I now need to spread defense this and mark each of these guys while pressuring the ball carrier, and then you've got NFL and a happy Ben. It's interesting.
Yeah. That actually brings me on to another thing. I hadn't really considered this, but maybe one more idea is player relationships. So the more, if a player passes to another player regularly, it becomes easier, like the Swift Twins,
Nah, the Swift Twins are overcosted. But that guy can throw though. Seriously, that's some stuff. I like Glorial. Glorial's a bargain at 150k. If you want to be throwing, Glorial is the one you want to be throwing with. I'd see that's another great narrative element, isn't it?
Hard to keep track of. I think.
Incredibly hard to keep track of. I think yeah, I think in a limited team environment where you're doing more of a narrative thing, then actually that could be cool. If you're playing Blood Bowl like an RPG, then that's just awesome. Yeah, it would be really good though, wouldn't it? Like favored target. But then again, what about this, Ben? What about getting SPP for receiving and getting SPP for scoring a touchdown off a pass? So the thrower in one turn, and I think this might actually be quite interesting. If a thrower scores a touchdown off the back of his throw, he gets the touchdown SPP as well.
As well?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that would be really spicy. I'd love that a lot.
You know, maybe not necessarily as well, but what about the
Can be spread maybe?
Yeah, maybe spread or the completion. Maybe completions get scored by the catcher and touchdowns get scored by the thrower.
Oh, that would be really cool. Yeah.
Because then you're brewing up catches and it's beneficial to get them the ball, and your touchdowns are scored by the throwers. But I don't know. I do
also,
think
if you want your blitzers to, you want your catchers, your blitzers to be getting the points, would you not? Would you kind of want them to get the touchdown SPP as well? Like maybe the choice could be good.
The choice
or
would
like
be
that
good.
spread. You get like 4 SPP split however you want.
Yeah,
minimum 1.
But I guess if you throw to a guy and then he runs in, it's weird. In the NFL, if you throw to a guy and then he runs in, the quarterback gets the touchdown. They both get the touchdown.
They both get it.
Essentially, yeah. Like Aaron Rodgers could throw for 3 TDs, but you know, if you look at the score sheet, these 2 wide receivers and this one running back all got 1 touchdown, and Aaron Rodgers got 3 touchdowns. Did they get 6? You know, so actually, but more from a Blood Bowl point of view, is if you want to score a touchdown on a catch, that dude's got to be hanging in the end zone chilling. That's a risk.
I don't like that so much.
Well, no, but that's my point. Is that actually giving the TD to a thrower on a successful throw, means you have to go and put a catcher in the end zone, waiting. And even if it's just 1 turn, you still move that catcher, then you go to throw. You fumble that throw, your catcher is vulnerable. And then you've got a risk and reward element there of actually, I can just hand off, I can quick pass to this guy and get a completion, then he runs it in and gets a touchdown. Or I move him first, take that pass and risk the double and go for the double SPP touchdown here. TD for the catcher.
Yeah, I like the double, yeah.
In that circumstance.
I could definitely see that. I think adding the extra, because I already think kind of passing is risk reward. Like the risk is the thing, really. Like passing is great when you pull off a pass. It's already fantastic. But I can definitely see rewarding it with extra SPP would definitely encourage that. It's a huge risk though. Imagine doing it with your elf team and losing your catchers, or losing your catcher and then your thrower gets blitzed or something. Or like, I don't know, ruined somehow.
Yeah, and that's the risk bit, isn't it? But also, if you're playing that stunty team, you know, if you are that human thrower, throwing for that cheeky touchdown is going to be extra SPP. It's going to be worth it. It's going to be awesome.
Mega.
I don't know. I guess other better ways to do it that don't break the game would be as a league, just having an underrated passer award every week or every month, or depending on how or at the end of every league there is you nominate a league MVP for passing, and it's actually the
Soren Hightower award because he's out.
There you go. Yeah,
bring him back.
That's it. Like actually, there's that one game where where that Orc lineman threw for 2 completions. Like, sweet, give that guy an extra MVP. He's done a thing. That Snotling threw a completion. Give him an MVP. That's wicked. Like, that's ridiculous. I don't know. It's interesting. The game is great as it is, and this is not. We don't need to fix it in any way, shape, or form. It's just about actually what else. How else do you explore stuff? Was there anything else on your list, Ben?
No, I think that's about it. Apart from for a teammate should be separate to pass. I think that's a thing. But
hugely so.
Yeah, that's just a thing that should have happened anyway.
Yeah, it's a shame they didn't do that. It's a shame they didn't do that. I don't. There is
maybe orcs benefit from it.
Orcs and humans,
but orcs will have animosity anyway. So
but anybody who's throwing teammate is doing it because they are madman, or it's their only chance. And actually, if they're going to be throwing teammate and throwing at the same time, they're not gaining anything except another chance to stretch play and win. And if my opponent won because they threw the ball to a dude who then got thrown, or a guy picked up the ball, then a tree threw him down the pitch, then he took a quick pass to somebody else, I don't mind losing to that. That's an epic story. Yeah, I agree. We should house rule that in our league, but I think we should. We should probably explore BB 2020 as it is, but it's good fun to chat about the different things you can do.
It is,
because that's pretty fun. Right, Ben, I think we can wrap up now if we're all good to go.
Yeah, I think so. That was a good app.
It's good fun just to chat nonsense, isn't it? Before we do go, just want to say thanks to everybody out there for listening, for commenting, for messaging, for putting comments on the YouTube, for listening to the podcast, for sending in stuff on Whip Wednesday, and a massive shout out to our Patreons as well. Richard Stone, TVH, Mark Baccarin, Justin Hunter, Des Slaven, Mark Dillon, Dean Thomas, Rob Thompson, Brad Adams, Jericho Johnston, Sean Gendall, Magic Kuchowitsk, Red 7394, Carl Wolves, Adeline, Andrew Brennand, Graham Klobe, Joshua Bergman, Oliver Matthews, John F. Croddick Jr., nice, Timothy Dunbar, Ross Bunn, George Christodulo, Sam Garner, Phil Stone, Stephen Jarrett, Carlos Gill, Sundid Psyche, Cooper Stokes, Owen Crossweller, Anthony Sweetman, Jeffrey Poddy, Paul Harrison, McSnugger, nice, TD Customs, Anton Nistrom, Dan Roundtree, Robo Whale, Toxic 6, Henning Haugum, David Coman Heidi, Sindre Mogster Bratton, Nick Roberts, Oscar Hager, Stephen Knoll, Steve Wolfhard, Matt Jones, Charlie Vanderbom, Jared, Xavier Dunwich, Dave Dragon. Thank you all very, very much. We do have a Patreon. We share content in there before we release it anywhere else. We do little prizes and competitions each month. But really, it's just we really appreciate your audience, and thank you for supporting us. It allows us to do extra prizes, to get extra equipment. So we've got some more equipment now because we really want to stream games from tournaments, whether we're running the tournament or whether we're just going to do coverage. Like, I just think no one else does that, and I think it's going to be great fun. And if somebody else did that first before us and did it better, I would watch the heck out of that, man. That would be sweet.
Absolutely.
So thank you for supporting us. It helps us make basically daily Blood Bowl content, and we massively appreciate your help. And with that, I think we should probably go to bed, Ben.
Yeah, probably go to bed.
Because it's late. Guys, thank you very much for joining us. Ben, thank you very much, man. It's awesome to chat Blood Bowl. I know it's come around quickly again, but I don't know. Will the Spike magazine be out before our next episode?
Oh, I kind of hope so. That would be good. That would be ambitious.
It would be ambitious. I don't think it's going to be the case. But let's hope it comes out soon. Anyway, right. Ben, thank you very much for chatting Blood Bowl. And guys, thank you very, very much for listening. We will see you again soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy blocking. Bye. Engage. Bust out the Patrick Stewart there. It's very sad. Have you seen him in the advert with Mark Hamill for like Uber Eats or something?
No, really?
Oh, man, it's so sad. Yeah, it's just Mark Hamill and him, and they're in a random warehouse, and Mark Hamill gets like some vegetarian dish delivered, and Patrick Stewart gets something pretentiously English delivered, beef burger or something. And it's just weird. He's just so old.
Just trying to compete with Just Eat Snoop Dogg.
And Corona. I don't know what. I assume Snoop Dogg ran out of money somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
But the worst I've ever seen, and it honestly broke my heart a little bit, was when J-Lo came up on an app game, like just this random coin app game, and it was J-Lo playing it. I'm like, what the is this? Like, no. Like, she was the best of us. She's the most like snooty, like she's just like this generation's Mariah Carey, there's no way this woman would ever sell out
from the block.
And then boom, she's doing this absolute garbage coin game.
That's literally, she literally has a song saying don't look at my money. I'm still the same person. No, you're not. You're a shill for a corporate for a crappy mobile game.
So Ben, I know I lost a load of respect for you because I said I would absolutely sell out for a Raid Shadow Legends ad, but that's mostly because it's a meme. Like if someone was like, "Hey, we've got this absolute awful Bejeweled clone," would you? I would not do that. I would not do that.
That's something. But
Raid Shadow Legends is just such a meme. Like I think
it'll be worth taking it to see how far you could push it.
There is a recent Raid Shadow Legends which the guy is just so annoying. It's like this dude and he's singing about it, and I'm like, what the heck is wrong with you? That I won't do. I'd rather die.
Yeah. I think you could take it and then pretend to shield for it, which like on a script would look good, but just absolutely.
If I had to advertise Raid Shadow Legends, I would think, right, how would Jeremy Clarkson do this? And that's how I would do it. That would be my angle. You know, it's not the best app game, but if there was an app game that everybody knew about and played, regardless of how good it was, it would be Raid Shadow Legends. You know, I would just be like Hugh Laurie shilling for something he doesn't believe in. That would just be me.
Oh man,
that'd be great.
Terrific.
But you know what? I would bet serious money no one has ever played Raid Shadow Legends.
No, they do.
100% a front for human trafficking. 100%.
I actually heard a really good take on it recently, which was like, it seems really obvious when you say it, but it's like, to advertise for it, it's like, it seems like why wouldn't you, right? You're getting paid to advertise. Everyone knows it's rubbish, but it's just like there is a chance that with the amount that it gives you, for the amount they give you, that's more of that is coming out of someone's listening to you's pocket. That's phrased. So it's like they wouldn't ask for advertisement unless they're making money off of it. But it's kind of like, I think that take is that's how you get the moral high ground. You're just like, well, it means don't advertise for it. No one else, like people here aren't losing money on it because it's not very good. Well, okay, we're talking about.
We don't know if it's not very good. That's the thing.
It's not good.
We don't know that. We don't know that. But I tell you, one game I would shill for is Kingdom Rush. I love that game. That's like a tower defense game with like 32-bit graphics. Oh, Ben, it's amazing. It's the best game.
Are we live?
Yeah.
Is actually just like a mobile game like sponsorship bit.
It's just going to go in at the end, just in case anyone from Raid Shadow Legends is like, well, these guys, they like games. Yeah, we do. Just potentially not yours. We don't know.
Man.
But Jenny from the block, disappointed in you.
Yeah. What are you doing?
I think if like an A-list celebrity at like does a game, they got to go.
Arnie's done mobile game.
Yeah, Arnie. But that's Arnie. Like he is a meme.
Yeah.
Like that just makes sense. They've just pulled out someone from I don't understand where. I assume she lost a bet, but I would expect, like, if Matthew McConaughey or Matt Damon did an advert for a game, I would need them to go, I know this looks sus, but I actually have played this game and it's really fun, and that's why I'm doing this. There would need to be a disclaimer at the beginning for me, and I still wouldn't trust them. If they took Aaron Rodgers and was like, hey, I've actually played Raid Shadow Legends and it's good fun, like, just try it. That would be the best advertising for me. I'd be like, whoa, that's Aaron Rodgers. Like,
that's why they do it, right?
This is it. But J-Lo was like, this is great fun. I'm like, you're lying to me. You weren't made in Manhattan.
You don't trust J-Lo.
No,
I don't. What are we getting from this?
Wrecked. Absolutely wrecked. Anyway,